kitchen plans hit a setback, having the right partner makes all the difference. At Dean Cabinetry, our family-owned business brings over 25 years of experience to every project, helping homeowners navigate every step of a kitchen remodel. If you already have cabinet plans, we'll work with you to match your design and budget, often with higher quality at a competitive price, without starting over. Dean Cabinetry, your kitchen cabinet partners from start to finish.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
It's one of the two constants in life.
All of us at some point in time will take our last breath.
Financial planner Ed Jertson says you don't want your loved one's grief to be complicated by a frantic search for important records.
And that starts with just basic, simple documents, just to be able to have these legal documents speak for you.
That list could include your will, financial accounts, and all necessary passwords. I'm Rob Hart.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
At a huge law firm, does your case feel lost? And at a small firm, they might not have the muscle to truly fight for you. At BPS Lawyers, we're small enough to give your case the personal attention it deserves, yet large enough with the resources and expertise to get the job done right every time. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Glastonbury, Hartford, Essex, East Hampton, New Hartford, and Simsbury. Visit bpslawyers.com or call 860-CALL-BPS. Nick Payne-Dearest is responsible for the content of this ad.
Are you a commercial building owner in southern New England? Are you frustrated with your roof services? Contact Eagle Rivet Roof Service today. Our skilled technicians provide tailored roof repair and maintenance programs to maximize your building's lifespan. With 24/7 emergency response and comprehensive service options, we are Greater New England's trusted commercial roofing provider. Visit EagleRivet.com for a complimentary inspection or call 860-953-1231. Protect your investment with Eagle Rivet.
As dads, it's our job to capture as many memories with our kids as possible. It's also our job to embarrass them, and if we're lucky, we get to do both. That's why I'm thankful my son created Legacy Box, the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos.
And I'll never recover from the time you showed up to my middle school dance to disco in front of everyone. Thanks, Dad. But he's right. Simply fill your Legacy Box with your old VHS, camcorder tapes, film reels, and photos, and we'll do the rest.
And in just a couple of weeks, you'll get your originals back, along with a DVD, thumb drive, or cloud delivery. Stuff that even an old man like me can figure out.
Plus, for a limited time, we're offering a special Father's Day sale.
Go to legacybox.com/radio
to
get an incredible deal. Buy today to take advantage of this limited offer. Go to legacybox.com/radio
to get started and save.
legacybox.com/radio.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! Oh my goodness. Listen to that. What's going on, all you scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, and of course the grand poobahs of hate, you haters. You know what time it is. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Do you recognize the voice? It don't sound good. Oh my goodness, it sounds awful. and I felt it coming on. It was a weird feeling that I got last night And no matter what I tried to do, it just wouldn't correct itself. And it's not that I have a cold or anything. I kind of feel like I really owe all the credit to none other than Mark from West Hartford, who jinxed me. He said to me the other day, because I filled in for our sister station at WBEN 2 days in a row, and then, of course, came here to do this show, 8 hours worth of talk, 2 days straight. And he says to me, what do you do to keep your voice? And I went, really nothing. Technically, I just drink lemon water all the time. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, yesterday, I was fine the whole weekend. I was out and about. All of a sudden, I felt this little scratch in the back. I'm going, what the heck is that? Where's that coming from? And then my tummy didn't feel great. Just felt not dizzying, but just like, oh no, I'm catching a cold, which weirdly enough, I only get when it gets like summertime. Like when I should be getting it, when it's cold, freezing outside, I should be sniffles, blankets, Thermoflu, whatever it is, nothing. I'm peachy keen, blazing through the day. All of a sudden, nice weather comes out. Oh, it's scratchy. And I'll tell you, I know what it was. And I should have noticed it. Because I really never thought that I had this problem. It's allergies. I was coming out of church yesterday, and I'm on the phone with Adam 12, and ironically trying to get Mark and West Hartford on the phone. And for some odd reason, this big, giant wind comes by, and it feels great because it's warm out, and you get a nice breeze. But there was something in the air where you can smell, if not taste, the pollen. And I noticed it immediately. It almost felt like trying to breathe through barbecue smoke. You know, like you cut. I was like, whoa, that was a lot. And then immediately later on in the day, I've got this little going on. It's driving me nuts. Roland, this bothers you too, I presume.
Janine and I just had this talk like
an
hour ago.
Did you?
Because that's what happened to me Thursday of last week. That's when it started.
So
tickle in the back of your throat, and then you had a little mucus.
Yeah.
And then Friday, it got worse. And then Saturday, it got worse. And then Sunday, I was finally starting to feel better. And then this morning, I woke up, and my head, which was feeling like my brain was about to explode out of my head.
I forgot all about that.
It calmed down. When I woke up this morning, I was like, yes, that is going away. So I'm getting better now.
So it's sort of like a throbbing pain in the forehead, kind of like that part of your head.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was exactly what I felt last night. So I'm not sick. This may be like.
Yeah, she said it was allergies.
It's got to be allergies.
Because I've never had it before, but she said you can develop it later on in life.
Totally, as your immune system starts to dwindle. That's when it happens.
Yeah, and I told her it's just up north stuff because anytime I'm home down south, I don't have any issues. And I told my doctor that up here, and he said, something that's different in the air up here.
Yeah.
And you have to use this humidifier, this special humidifier that costs a lot of money and all this other kind of stuff. So
it was so bad. And I'm telling you, as I'm sitting outside the church, I'm on the phone. And again, beautiful day. So I'm outside, and all of a sudden, a big gust of wind, and I felt it, smelt it, and very much so breathed it in, the pollen coming right through the air. And it was the first time in my life I ever really noticed it, because it was like, that was palpable. And now all of a sudden I'm going, maybe I inhaled a whole bunch of pollen, and now it's affecting me.
Yeah.
And the sneezing was my first.
Yeah.
Yes, the sneezing was what gave it away.
Back to back, like 3-4 in a row.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what my Sunday was. And I was like, wow. So I guess, so in essence, it's nothing I should be worried about. I'm just going to have to sort of be careful. Oh, am I going to have to wear a mask outside?
Yeah, or I was told, Janine told me take Claritin or Zyrtec or something like that.
One of those things. Okay. All right, maybe I should. Because, I mean, like I said, it's not like I feel sick, but I feel like I inhaled something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's not like I was like, had to call out of work type sick.
Right.
It was just like this head cold type of thing.
Yes.
A lot of sneezing and then blowing your nose and all that.
Yeah, but the pain was like right above my eyebrows.
Yeah.
And it was throbbing. I was like, oh, and that was when I was first alarmed. I was like, ooh, maybe I am sick, but it's totally allergies. It's wild. Let me see. I had my car washed, Elaine says, and I think Elaine says, and got home and more yellow pollen on the car. Yeah. Thank you, Gregory. Jeffrey, I'm sorry. He says I sound fine. Maybe to myself, I feel like inside my own ear, I feel. You can hear it. You can. Okay. Let me see. An extra comment. Oh, thank you very much. And thank you, Silvermine, for checking out the show all the way down in Stafford. We appreciate you. I want to get into this thing that happened last week and kind of took on a fever pitch over the weekend. And you folks know that I don't give too much of a damn, if you will, about the promotion of the Reese on the Radio brand. I believe that this show does what it does on its own. I think that your word of mouth celebration of this program is all that I need. And you have been 100% stellar on that front. And by the way, I owe you a debt of gratitude I'll never be able to repay. So when these things happen, like they did last week, I want you to pay very close attention to what I tell you every time. So I got to go all the way back to June 1st. On June 1st, I did a whole monologue off the fly. That morning or that afternoon, I woke up and it was June 1st. And I told you the only thing I was thinking about was I really loved the month of June because there were so many things in my life that changed in that month. When I first started my business, my moving company, it was on June 8th. Today, of all days. A little more than 7 years ago. 7 years ago, now that I think about it, exactly 7 years ago. And I talked about how proud of a moment that was because, again, I was 50 and I started a business. A lot of people start businesses roughly around that age, but I never thought that was in my cards. But I had to, and I did. And it was very successful. I made a lot of good money there. Started off slow. And, of course, growed, had a staff of 5 or 6 part-timers, 2 full-timers. It was a really flourishing business, and I did well, 6 figures. For a guy like me, again, no real formal education, coming from Hollis, Queens, I considered it quite an accomplishment, something to pat myself on the back. You can achieve anything. And I like to use that as a testimony to plenty of other people who don't think that there are opportunities out there for them. You just have to try. You have to be willing to fail. So again, as I celebrated as something that now I have provable evidence to share with somebody. Another thing in June that happened to me, I fell in love with the woman of my dreams, and that is Roseanne. Got together on June 15th, 5 years ago. Never thought it would happen in a lifetime that I would have the relationship that I have with her. And on the 23rd of this month, 7 years ago, is when I got sober. So imagine what was on my mind when I woke up on June 1st. I was just thinking, yeah, I got so many things to celebrate. Got the anniversary of my company, of course, the anniversary of my relationship with Roseanne, and the anniversary of my sobriety. So again, I was a little, myopic. I was thinking about myself, but I was like, I was raring to go. And then I went online, smack dab, took all of the momentum out of my sales. Oh, damn, it's Gay Pride Month. We're going to have to talk about that all month. And it's going to be this person talking about that, and people inundate me with calls today. Did you see this video? Did you see that one? So I said that morning, okay, fine, I'm going to have to do a monologue about this. but is to tell people don't fall for the okie doke. If you fall for the okie doke, it's not going to be about the important issues. It's just going to be about what you said or about how outlandish you had to be in order to get people to recognize what you feel or how you feel about the Pride Month. And I said, you don't need to. For those celebrating Pride, let them celebrate. But if it goes beyond the pale, just point it out. I'm going to leave this right here. You can post it on your social media. Don't have to editorialize. Just going to leave this here. Why? Because then it isn't about what you said or what you said about it. People can see it on their own, even members of the community. If they saw something that was completely out of sorts or maybe to a degree inappropriate, people would see that and go, okay, I'm a part of that community and this is not good. That we can be a part of the community, but point out that that is not a good thing for children to see or for the public to be a part of. We can say that. And again, you don't have to editorialize because, again, it is about what you say instead of what they see. And I tried to preach it so hard, but you didn't want to listen. You didn't want to listen. Everybody wanted to make it about, but Reese, you have to stand up. Sure you do. But there is a way to stand up. It's not as simple as standing. Everybody can stand up for the things that they believe in. Of course you can. The question is does it work? And what did I try to explain? You thought I was arrogant because I said you don't know how to win? Too bad. You don't know how to win. Why? Why? The proof is in what I said. Everything that I said that would happen, proof positive, it was true. You don't want to listen to me? Too arrogant to listen to me? Fine. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just placating. Nope. I told you what was going to happen. You don't have the power in this, but you could. You could. You could have. You didn't want it. You made it more about rejecting logic and wanted to go after righteousness, your own perceived righteousness. And I told you it was strategy. We can all go to war. You think about this? We can all go to war against anything. But we don't just run down the hill and just go, attack! No, we don't. We don't have a plan, boss? Well, no, just go on. That's nonsense. You know it and I know it. And what did I say? Here's how you do it. It's this simple. Use your head. And then we get this situation with this character, McCormack. To which he comes on the show. Why? Because I saw his post as, a little nudge to the left. Let's talk to him and find out what this is all about. I'll admit that the whole George Washington court-martialing somebody for sodomy was a bit extra. But we figured, hey, 23 years old, he's a Baptist kid, he believes in the Bible. Fine, sure, we'll talk to him. Find out where he's going with this. And as you all know, he went in the direction that he went in. To which, if you watch the video of me, my eyes, silver dollars. What? What? He made that revelation on this show. Nowhere else. He was on FSB, he was on TNH, and of course his post was anywhere and everywhere before he came to this show where he made the most outlandish statement. And what I did, and many of you did calling up this show, was exactly what was supposed to be done. There was absolutely no daylight between his comments and you admonishing it. And what did I tell you the next day? That no one can say anything about you or the conservatives in this state, or even those who listen to this very program, about how you feel about people of the LGBTQ community, because you made it about policy and not about persecution. And you did that. But I warned you on the 1st that it didn't matter what you said. It was going to be about what Mr. McCormack said. And although they tried to play it as, look who spoke up. Vin Candelora spoke up. Talking about Jeff Gordon speaking up, other Republicans speaking up. But those things were bylines. It was played off as if there were some sort of confusion within the Republican Party, that they weren't sure exactly how they felt. They even went so far as to not mention this host and this show, who arguably is one of the most conservative voices on or any media in Connecticut. Nothing against the other guys who call themselves conservatives, and may very well be, but I'd like to consider myself even more conservative than them. They didn't even point out that the host of the show that got Mr. McCormack to reveal what he felt about gays in this state, much less around the world, in the biblical sense, they never even mentioned that I pushed back on him. They just said he said it on my show. The Hartford Courant was the only place that had one line. There was pushback. They didn't even mention it. Isn't that interesting? Not one mention of it anywhere else. And it didn't even attribute it to me. I found that odd. As you should have. Here's Tom, what's his name? Tom Dutchich? Is that, am I pronouncing it right? Dutchich. On his own show, Capitol Report.
If you want more of McCormack's discussion on this, I urge you to go to my site, ctcapitalreport.com, or just Google WTIC McCormack and listen to his comment with Reese on the radio, and I think you'll get all you need to know about this guy.
He said Google WTIC and Reese on the radio. Tom's website is a link to my show. He said go to his page to read about it. Yeah, if you go to his page, it's just a link to my show. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More on this when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
When a contractor needed to quickly lock down valuable equipment on site, they called the leader in mobile storage, Eagle Leasing. We delivered a clean, watertight storage container exactly where they needed it. Call 1-800-GET-EAGLE or go to eagleleasing.com. You see us everywhere. We're Eagle Leasing.
When a contractor needed convenient office space on their job site, they called the leader in mobile offices, Eagle Leasing. The next day, we delivered a clean, high-quality office trailer and put it exactly where they needed it. Call 1-800-GET-EAGLE or go to eagleleasing.com. You see us everywhere. We're Eagle Leasing.
Last year, we had 295 trials where we've been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot, $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Herbie Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
When you want local news, turn to WTIC News Talk 1080, Connecticut's only radio station with a dedicated news team reporting on the local stories that affect you. From Manchester to Mystic, Hartford to Hampton, and Putnam to Plymouth, one radio station has your local news and breaking news as it happens. Local news from the WTIC newsroom. And now, national news from ABC News Radio. Listen on your radio, smart speaker, or on your phone with the free Odyssey app to WTIC News Talk 1080. And now, a WTIC news update.
80 degrees at 2:30. I'm John Silva. Investigators trying to figure out the cause of a fire that broke out early this morning at a family-owned construction business in Barkhamsted. Firefighters called to 4 Old North Road just after 4 this morning. No injuries were reported. However, there was some concern because there were some finishing chemicals on the site. There was no hazmat. Crews also, because of a lack of hydrants in the area, had to truck in water to fight that fire. State police investigating a pair of fatal motorcycle crashes over the weekend. On Saturday, troopers say in Hebron, a collision between a motorcycle rider and the driver of a Subaru Legacy left the bike operator dead. 21-year-old Dylan Keefe attempted to pass the Subaru on the left and wound up hitting that vehicle. On Sunday, state police say 35-year-old Enrique Rivera of Waterbury lost control of his bike on I-84 near exit 23, was thrown from the vehicle and later pronounced dead. Israel and Iran appear to be backing away from further strikes just hours after they traded fire for the first time since the U.S. and Tehran agreed to a ceasefire 2 months ago. However, both warned today they remain ready to launch retaliatory attacks if provoked. Senators are warning that a key U.S. surveillance authority could expire this week after bipartisan opposition to President Trump's pick to lead the nation's intelligence community derailed an extension effort. And Encon police are looking for more information in finding who was responsible for shooting a bear to death. Was found dumped in Burlington over the weekend. They say the bear, weighed about 200 pounds, was found on the side of the road on Upson Road. Was found to have been shot behind the right front shoulder. WTIC News Time is 2:32 from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network. We still have that crash in Newtown on 84 West between exits 10 and 9 off on the right shoulder. New problem has cropped up in Southington. 84 East between exits 30 and 31 got the left and center lanes taken out due to a 2-vehicle crash. And in Plymouth, Route 262, both directions, that's closed at Maple Avenue due to a downed tree. Bob Cox is the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
The sunshine will stay with us this afternoon. In fact, it'll be with us until 8:24 this evening when the sun finally sets. High temperature around 80 in the Hartford area today. Comfortably low humidity. Clear sky tonight. Comfortable temperatures for sleeping. Lows dropping back to the low to mid 50s. Tomorrow looks sunny. Highs will be in the 80s. Still comfortable humidity with a southwest wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy Tuesday night. Lows 60 to 65. More in the way of clouds around Wednesday with the chance for a shower or two. Highs in the 80s. And a mix of sun and clouds Thursday with the chance for a shower or thunderstorm. Hot, more humid. Highs in the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's up 59, NASDAQ's ahead 339, and the S&P is up 52 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Is life insurance still on your list of New Year's resolutions? Now is the perfect time to add it. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40 and her $5,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Whittlesey Accounting Advisory Technology wants you to think about golf. Travelers Championship opening day is in just 14 days.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
Meet Keith. He runs a 30-acre ranch. 8 years ago, his knees started giving out.
Climbing a ladder was almost impossible. If I could get down, I have to have something next to me to get up.
Keith's wife had a knee replacement. The recovery was hard and the results, not great. Keith wanted another way.
I won't go under the knife because I believe the body can do whatever it needs to do to heal itself.
Surgery wasn't the answer. QC Kinetics was. They're regenerative treatments. No surgery, no long recovery.
After the first one, the inflammation dropped 90%. Today, my knees are just amazing. I could not do what I've done if I had not gotten treatments to QC Kinetics. I just pray that my physical model continues to go and help other people.
Maybe that's you. Tired of dealing with the joint pain? Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio here. Thank you all for the kind happy anniversary messages as well. Joe, welcome to the show. And thank you all. I'm going to give some shout-outs later on at 3 o'clock, so stand by for that. We did a lot of things this weekend and bumped into a lot of folks. Some of which didn't know who I was and immediately heard me talking and then was like, oh, you're that guy. And I thank you. I told them that I would give them a shout out today. So stay tuned for that roughly around 3 o'clock. Also, there's a couple of things that we're going to be doing on Reese on the radio. And I think a lot of people are going to glom on. If they haven't already, I think it's something that we should do here on the program. And if I have to, I have to. I'm going to give credit to Brian and Company because they do it I want to say like 2 weekends a month, right? It's like 2 weekends a month they do it, darting across Connecticut, right? That's the whole premise, is to go to all of these local breakfast places, these little diners and restaurants to host the show out there, sort of giving love to those businesses. We want to start doing that, but we want to do a little bit more of sort of going out to these places, visiting them, just like, I'm talking to folks about going to manufacturing facilities. And please, if you're talking to your boss about having Reese on the radio, myself and Roseanne come by, please talk to them soon and get in touch with us. Go to reeseontheradio.com and let me know what dates are available or what days are available. We'll come by in the morning, of course. We'll come in as early as 9 a.m. so that I can get here and start preparing at 11 o'clock. I want to see these places and what they do and sort of give a perspective that you folks probably, a lot of people don't know that you have a manufacturing company around here. And I want to sort of highlight the things that you do in your business and in those plants. I want to see how I want to see how the sausage is made, literally and figuratively. I'm very fascinated by that. And I think it has everything to do with sort of growing up and seeing television and movies based in manufacturing jobs. And that's kind of like, I'm just fascinated by that career. So, and I know so many of them have left the country, so I'm really interested in checking those out. So if you have a manufacturing company and your boss will allow you to, please get in touch with us. Go to reeseontheradio.com, REESE on the radio.com. Because of this whole thing with how the media responded to Jaden McCormack and this very show, omitting the fact that he appeared on this show where he made the comments that created so much, created the firestorm. That the comments were featured, but not the pushback. Got me thinking, what are we going to do about it? Because I know I could complain till my eyes bleed. It's never going to change anything. And I started thinking about this as I was writing yesterday. And this is what I wrote. I said, now look at this. Look how the story is being told in the media. Outlets that covered it reported that the candidate appeared on Reese on the radio and doubled down. They quoted the strongest lines about sodomites and the death penalty. What you don't see much of, if anything, is the pushback that actually happened on the show. The challenges, the distinctions. The fact that even here, the death penalty framing was rejected by the host and by the Republican leadership. That omission is not an accident. It serves the larger story that they won't tell. That any serious opposition to Pride Month excesses or gender ideology automatically equals to the most extreme position in the room. It lets them broaden the brush. It lets them say, see what happens when conservatives push back? And it conveniently leaves out that the actual conservative voices on the ground did not go along with the extremist framing. That's exactly what I warned everybody about on June 1st. When you take that bait in the loudest and most headline-ready way, instead of staying strategic and focused, you give them the story that they've been waiting for. The reasonable pushback, the actual conservative argument about kids and biology and parental rights gets memory hold. The caricature gets the ink. This is why the advice I gave on June 1st still stands. You don't need all that hyperbolic language. You don't need it. It's made to ignore the most important thing, and that's what your agenda is, what your point is. And the idea is that you think, and this is this pop culture social media class of people who think that only the most ridiculous of claims gets the most attention, is true, but it's never for the right reasons. You see extremists and you go, let's match that energy. No. Why? Why? I've never seen that. It's why shadow boxing never wins fights. Okay? That's simple. Sparring does. I love that football. I love that boxing analogy. Shadow boxing is just you doing the same thing the shadow do, and your shadow doing the same thing you're doing. Sparring doesn't. You're sparring against someone, they are going to get you slipping. And you have to know exactly what punch they're going to pull. And you have to bob and weave, know exactly how to maneuver. Strategy. But you have so many people in this world just saying, it's like, I can be explosive. I can be a muckraker just like that guy. Think. Just think. And not that I think that this is important. It isn't. It's one guy. The thing's going to work itself out. Everybody wants something to talk about because they're bored to tears about what we're going to talk about this summer. It's already a dead issue, if you get my meaning. But for me, it says something bigger. And it's not because I'm involved in any way. I don't care. Like I said, this isn't about me getting any props. And I don't even know what the props would be. That I push back? Pff, no kidding. I don't need accolades for that. I stand firm on who I am. And I don't care what anybody thinks about it. But what I will say is this. There's no need to be upset about what the news media is doing. You have to act. So we started something new. And that something new is called The Rundown. Some of you have already liked the page on Facebook. I created it last night. And the rundown is simple. We're running down the headlines. If they print it, we're running it down. If they're lying to you, we run it down. If there's bias, we'll run it down. Whatever they are saying, whatever they are doing, we will run it down. And we will tell you exactly where they're lying to you, why you should not trust the reporting, and give you the facts. And we will separate the agenda from the real story. But it has to go one step further than that. It's one thing to report on the news stories that you see every day, but it's another to get the message out there. So you're going to have to play a role in this. So you're going to have to go to the rundown page, and the stories that we post, you got to share them. You have to like them, and you have to share them. And you have to get the word out. As I said in the opening, I'm done with complaining about the mainstream news media. It's time for them to start complaining about us. And what they'll complain about is that we are checking them. Not fact-checking them, checking them. This isn't about fact-checking. This is about telling the real story that they are omitting and covering the news that they don't. The only way you're going to meet that is if you not put pressure on them, but actually endorse the media that covers the things you care about and tells the truth and does not omit certain things, like the pushback on this very subject, on this very show. And the reason why I did it was simple and plain. McCormick made his statements, the one that is drawing all the fire. He made them on the show Wednesday. He didn't make them when he spoke to WFSB. He spoke to them, sorry, not WFSB, WTNH. He didn't make them there. He didn't make them on NBC Connecticut. He made them here. That news broke here. And it was done in a long-form conversation, and not one news media outlet afterwards who linked the show even took the time to point out that the host who brought him here pushed back on him and told him that that was no way to win hearts and minds. They ignored that very point. And that you called up and also disagreed with him and said it was wrong. It didn't even make the byline. And I'm not complaining about it anymore. I know who they are. I told you this before. We know who they are. So if they won't report it, we will. If they are going to be dishonest to you, we are not going to allow them to be dishonest because we're just going to do our own reporting on their reports. But how does that blow up? You like it and you share it and you make sure that everyone sees it. So that they know their story, which we will also feature, as well as the true story. And if we get it wrong, we'll admit that we got it wrong. That's honest journalism. So, for those of you out there who are doing real journalism, if it don't apply, let it fly. But right now, if you got your panties in a bunch about it, it's probably because you're guilty. I just ignore it. But I know you can't. Because there's something itching around you just going, is he talking about me? I don't know. Am I? We'll see. But if you want to find out, maybe your article will be featured on the Reese on the Radio Rundown. Maybe you should follow it. We'll tell you what's coming up on the program shortly. Stand by. More news, more views. It's Reese on the Radio.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation. Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
You know, by the way, I just wanted to make this mention that, you know, with everyone running around talking about, you know, these comments and how reprehensible they were, you know, calling for violence on anyone is just 100% wrong, which I totally agree with. This comment just kind of bothered me because I really want to dig a little deeper to find out what it meant. This was on Capitol Report over the weekend. This is former minority leader John McKinney. He said this.
As someone who lost my father to AIDS, even at 62, I'd like a couple minutes alone with this guy.
That's right.
I don't know what that meant, but former Rep McKinney, if you want to explain it, please call up the show, 860-522-WTIC. I hope, well, I don't want to assume what you meant by it, but I would like some clarification. You want to sit down and talk to him for 6 minutes? I hope. I hope that's what you meant, because, again, the objective is not to promote violence. And I wasn't certain what that meant. So I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but again, this is what I heard because this is what was said.
As someone who lost my father to AIDS, even at 62, I'd like a couple minutes alone with this guy.
That's right.
And that's all I'm saying. So there was no real pushback. The black gentleman on the show said something like, that's right. Again, I don't know. Okay? So hopefully somebody can clear that up for me. All right? Anyway, or just clarify it for yourself. How about that? You don't need to answer to me. Clarify it for yourself. Because again, I don't condone that either. He's a kid, and he's 23. I'm not making excuses for him other than the fact that his youth and development is still under question. Okay? That's all. That's the only point I'm making. Anyway, when we come back, I want to give a couple of shout-outs later on in the program, of course, to folks over in Bristol. Turns out that we were in Bristol a lot this weekend. Stand by for that a little after 3:50. I want to give those shout-outs. When we return, though, Chris Murphy, wouldn't you know it, this guy puts a book out about collectivism, how we all need to get together and understand and work together, is funding groups that are stoking division and more so violence in places like New Jersey and in the Midwest against ICE agents. What is going on? I mean, talking out two sides of your face. And I hear that he even called himself schizophrenic. Whew, that's a self-diagnosis. I found that interesting. That was a hell of a statement to make there, buddy. 1 minute, we're in a war. We're in a war. The next minute, we all need to come together. What is it? Next, Republicans are, what did he say? Murphy suggests Trump voters are ignorant and ill-informed while writing a book about the common good in all of us, Republican and Democrat alike. Does he think that we wouldn't notice the two? He said this while he was on the book tour, trying to say that we all need to get together for one common good thing, or several common good things. And then at the same time, reprobate stuff. Reprobates! What is... Hey, let me say something. I'm going to say it again. Guy thinks I'm kidding. I told you this guy needs a welfare check. I told you he did. Who here right now, at this point, is saying, I don't know? Who's saying it? Keep thinking I'm kidding. Guy needs a welfare check. And they won't. What are you afraid of? It's Chris Murphy. Just pull him aside. One of you. I know there's no real leadership there, but pull him aside. Just go, hey, dude, what's up? You okay? Seriously. Like, be a friend. Be a pal. He's got to have some friends. And don't let that Mike Frost kid look at us. Don't let that guy do anything. Don't let him be the voice of reason. Just no. But anybody else. I'll take an AOC over Mike Frost. But I'll read all of this when we get back, so stand by. More news, more views when we return. Top of the hour news coming up with our good friend John Silva in the WTIC newsroom. We'll be back.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
Three o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Bedford Middle School in Westport went into lockdown this morning following a threat. Police say just after 10:30, school officials received a call suggesting that explosive devices were in the school and armed individuals were inside as well. State police, along with officers from Fairfield and Norwalk, conducted a search and found no devices were found, and the lockdown was lifted around noon. After that initial call, Westport police say other agencies around the state received similar calls as well, suggesting the threats were part of an organized hoax. Hostilities in the Middle East have ratcheted up between Iran and Israel, despite calls from President Trump to tone it down.
The president did an interview with the Financial Times, and he said that Benjamin Netanyahu would have to go along with whatever peace deal he gets with Iran. He won't have any choice. I call the shots. I call all the shots. He doesn't call the shots. But despite all of that, and despite the phone call that he had with Prime Minister Netanyahu, Israel obviously went on and attacked Iran.
It's ABC's Jonathan Karl. Crews were called to the scene of a fire this morning at a construction company in Barkhamsted. Firefighters dispatched just after 4, the business at Old New Hartford and Old North Roads. Several companies responded. Due to a lack of hydrants in the area, they had to truck water into the scene to beat back the flames. The fire chief says there was also concern because finishing chemicals were stored at the site, but there was no hazmat situation and no injuries reported. That investigation is ongoing. A couple of fatal motorcycle crashes in our state over the weekend. On Saturday, troopers say in Hebron, a collision between a motorcycle rider and the driver of a Subaru Legacy left the bike operator dead, 21-year-old Dylan Keefe. He attempted to pass the Subaru on the left side as it was making a left turn from Gilead Street. Keefe was thrown from the bike and died at an area hospital. Then on Sunday, state police say 35-year-old Enrique Rivera of Waterbury lost control of his motorcycle on I-84 near exit 23. He was thrown from the bike and died. Highway was closed for 6 hours during that investigation. The heat is on, and parents are being reminded not to forget their kids in the back seat of a car. And Connecticut's senior senator says the federal government could be doing more to prevent hot car deaths.
It's never okay to leave a child in a hot car for any amount of time, according to Dr. John Brancato of Connecticut Children's.
A 2-minute errand can turn into a 10 or 15-minute errand. The temperature inside a hot car can approach 118 to 120 degrees in a very short time.
A 2021 law backed by Senator Richard Blumenthal says the federal government must require car makers to install warning systems reminding parents to check the back seat. But the Department of Transportation has yet to enforce that rule.
These regulations are way overdue, in violation of the law.
Some auto companies like Volvo and Toyota voluntarily include systems that detect a child's presence and alert the driver before they leave the car. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Security expected to be tight for tonight's Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden. More from correspondent Sherry Preston.
Agent Matt McCool with the U.S. Secret Service says because President Trump will be there, Game 3 will be different.
You will see Secret Service, police, and special agents, transportation security officers, federal air marshals, and the NYPD officers throughout the area.
What you won't see is those fans packing the streets outside the Garden. That party's been moved to Bryant Park behind the New York Public Library. There are also screens set up in Central Park and throughout Brooklyn. Security at all locations throughout the city will be extremely tight. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
WTIC News time is 3:04. Checking traffic. Looks like an earlier crash we had on the westbound side of 84 in Newtown between exits 10 and 9 is gone. We still have the westbound HOV lane, 84 westbound HOV closed just beyond Silver Lane in East Hartford for some road work. Some leftover work down in Rocky Hill on the northbound side of 91 between exits 24 and 25. They'll be in the left lane there till about 3:30. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Following a day with some sunshine, we have a clear sky tonight with a low temperature down to 54. Might want to say when the air conditioner costs tonight, the heat does come back. Tomorrow, the high temperature up to 88 degrees with plenty of sun. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy down to 61. On Wednesday, the high temperature 80, but it will be more humid, and there will be an afternoon shower in spots. We will have a thunderstorm in spots on Thursday. It'll be hot and humid, the high temperature 94. We repeat that same pattern on Friday with a high of 93 and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. And then once we get into Saturday, it'll be partly sunny, pretty warm, but not as humid, the high temperature 89. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, it's currently 80 and partly sunny right now in Hartford. Dow's up 14, NASDAQ is up 289, and the S&P is ahead 40 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Whittlesey Accounting Advisory Technology wants you to think about golf. Travelers Championship opening day is in just 14 days.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
Irby Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog and your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older, be stronger in the gym, be sharper at work, be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right. News hour right here, Reese on the radio. By the way, guest coming up, we've got a young man by the name of Andrew Rice, who many of you may have seen, I want to say last fall in a lot of the news. He's a young man, progressive. He may be a socialist. I'm not certain, but I know he's a progressive. And he's running against Rosa DeLauro as well on her side, on the Democrat side. He's going to be, I've seen him in and around town, a couple of news reports about him at protests. I know I saw him at a ICE protest and several of them, especially the protest after Renee Good was shot by an ICE officer, and then at the ICE facility that night where we got that exclusive video of the hit and run that took place. By the way, no mention of that. Anybody? Anyone? Oh, where did it be found, right? Where's that investigation? Nowhere? Anybody got an update for you? Yeah, we thought so. So we'll talk to him about that and about a lot of other stuff, his campaign and how it's going. So he is excited to be here, so I've heard, and we'll bring him down here. We'll talk to him in the 4 o'clock hour. You guys, do you say it all the time in the beginning? Why you got on these progressive guys, these liberal guys? And then afterwards you go, oh, that's pretty good. That was actually an okay interview. Yeah, okay, of course. Because you want to hear from them. You want to be able to be in a room and ask a progressive or a Democrat a question. Here's an opportunity. So that's what I'm going to do when he's here. And we're going to talk to him for about an hour. Speaking of progressives or Democrats, I got a chance to run into none other than, wait for it, Josh Elliott over the weekend. Now, I want to make it clear before everybody starts screaming and hollering, okay? I like Josh Elliott. I wouldn't vote for him. I'm not crazy. But I like him. He is a very charismatic young guy, and I love talking to him. Also, what I really love about him, and I really like this about him, is that he does not lie to me. He will not lie to me. And that is rare for somebody who's a politician. So he was at the Parkville Market, whatever that is, Parkview Market. I can't remember. Who knows? We had lunch there. But anyway, he was having a town hall there. So we went by twice. We went to go see him. Finally, we got there too early, and then we showed up a little late at the end of it. And I stopped and talked to him. As soon as he saw me, he was like, "Hey, Reese," gave me a hug. "How you doing, buddy?" Blah, 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 blah. And I said, "Come on, man. Why don't you come on the show? You know I asked you to come on the show." And he said right to my face, he goes, "What would I come on your show for? Your show does nothing for me. You don't help me in the primary." He goes, "After the primary, I'll be on the show. I win the primary, I'm there." "Really?" I'm like, "Dude, but you did Brian Shackman's show." He's like, "We've had a relationship for a lot of years, you know. It was a long time between Brian and I." It's like, I had to go there. He's kind of got, he's got both sides of the audience here. Your show doesn't help me. And I get it. He's right. None of you folks are going to vote for. That may be, he doesn't really know that there are a lot of people on the left who listen to this program. They can't really gauge that here. But he knows that it's such a conservative show that being on here would be, there's no one to really reach out to. But he was straight. He said it. He didn't think about it at all. He said it right to my face. "Your show doesn't help me, buddy." He said, "I got to go in places that'll help me." And I was like, I looked at him and I just said, "Yeah, that makes sense." I was like, "That makes sense. It does." He goes, "You had Lamont on the show?" I'm like, "Of course not. What are you kidding me?" He goes, "See." Like, again, I love the guy because he is that honest, brutally. But he made a promise if he wins the primary, and he looks good. People saying it's crazy. He don't look good. He looks good. He doesn't look great, but he looks good. Forget all that ridiculous polling data. And people know he looks good. That's why they're not talking about it. So, there goes that. But I commend him for telling me straight to my face, "Yeah, your show doesn't help me." All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Kind of hurt my feelings, though. But I'm like, is that a reason not to come on? He's like, he's got a lot of ground to cover. I totally get it. Why waste his time if time is of the essence? So I appreciate him doing it. Senator Chris Murphy, however, this guy is all over the place. And if you go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com right now, go to my Substack, you will read the article, How the Collectivist Breeds Division, the story of Chris Murphy. And it talks about how he is operating through this American Mobilization Project PAC. The Federal Election Commission shows that he gave $100,000 to the Indivisible Project in 2025. The money was earmarked to ramp up Indivisible's work, training staff and volunteers, buying materials in recruiting, securing permits, and building durable mass mobilization capacity across the country. And Indivisible is not a neutral civic group. It was founded, of course, in 2016 to explicitly defeat the right-wing takeover of American government and combat what it calls the alliance of white nationalists and the ultra-rich. So if you're giving $100,000 to this organization, you agree with their principles. And that's what Chris Murphy believes. It has to be, right? That's exactly what he would say about Donald Trump and Republicans, that there would be guilt by association. And all of this is happening while he's out here writing books about the common good. Murphy explained this shift in his own words. In a March 2025 NBC News interview, he described moving from spending 2 years writing big bipartisan deals on guns or immigration to now being out in front trying to fight for the survival of democracy and using really tough language about my Republican colleagues. He added that this may look a little schizophrenic. He has stated that we may not have either election another election in at least a free and fair one if we don't stop this slide away from free speech and democracy quickly. And that the only way to stop a would-be tyrant from cratering, from destroying a democracy is mass mobilization, which is why he believes he should donate this money to Indivisible. At the same time, writing a book about us all having core values that are similar. In one breath, he talks about, in his book, by the way, The Crisis of the Common Good, Fighting for Meaning and Connection in a Broken America, where he says that many people in even MAGA world would agree in fighting against, businesses and monopolies and people being able to make it in life, that our oligarchy would not rule the roost, as it were. But then at the same time, talking about how Trump voters are ignorant and ill-informed. That's incredible. This is what he says. And I want to make sure that I point out that you can't be all over the place and be a consistent politician looking for an elevated spot in our, in our process, so to speak. If Chris Murphy wants to be anything better than a senator, perhaps running for president, he is going to get railed for being inconsistent. It is his biggest weakness, that he's everywhere and nowhere at the same time, which I told people. Now, it's quite possible no one will attack him. If there's a stage of 15, hell, if there's only 10 people, I promise you that Chris Murphy will barely be mentioned on that stage because no one thinks he's a threat, even in his own party. I think that they even know that he's inconsistent. We know Bernie's not going to run again, but think about anybody who's going to be running in that party's election. I know Cory Booker will be there again. We know Gavin Newsom will be there. And that will be the show to watch. If Kamala Harris decides to run, goodness gracious, I can't wait to watch that bloodbath. But if Chris Murphy's there, think about the people who will be there. It's quite possible Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will be there. Let's be honest, folks. It's safe to say that even though the Democrats don't have a deep bench, and when I say deep, meaning deep thoughts, they have a bench that will be entertaining to watch on a stage during the primary. Cory Booker, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Gavin Newsom, and if so, Kamala Harris on that stage will be entertaining. And then throw Chris Murphy up there, who will probably be ignored. I can see it now, Chris Murphy on the dais saying these exact words. Is anybody going to ask me a question? Does anybody want to know what I think? People who are watching that debate are going to go, who's that guy? He's on TV everywhere. They won't know him. They won't. Ro Khanna has more, party ID than Chris Murphy in Connecticut. In Connecticut. You know he does. Of course he does. I don't know. Hunter asks, why bring progressives on to fill an hour of the show? With the left-leaning WTIC knows the show seems to be going left. Hunters, are you new here? Are you really? Why bring progressives to fill an hour on the show with the left-leaning WTIC news? The show seems to be going left. Hunters, you're going to have to qualify that. I've never ever heard anybody even think about calling me that. And I don't think, I don't know, whatever. But thank you, Hunter. I appreciate you listening, even though that doesn't have any relevance. But yeah, I expect Chris Murphy to be, I want to see him on the stage primarily because I think he would be the laughingstock. And plus, there would probably be only, I'd say, 5 sound bites in all of it, and it would be embarrassing. He may have to get very, very extreme if he wants to be that guy. Like I said, speaking of Hunter's post, we're going to have Andrew Rice on the program. He is running as left of Rosa DeLauro, if you can imagine that. He'll be on the program to talk about his idea and where he is in fundraising and getting on the ballot, if at all, how well he thinks he's going to do, the support that he has. He has been actually a part of a lot of these anti-police organizations. Or at least he's been to their rallies. I'll just say that. I don't know if he's a part of them. But he's been to several of their rallies in and around Connecticut. That's where we've seen him in most of those places. And we talked about getting him on the show, I want to say last year. And now we've got a pretty good opportunity to have him on here to talk about who he is and what he's all about. Also on the program, I'm going to be giving some shout out to some people. We were anywhere and everywhere over the weekend. Also, I've got sound bites coming up, especially as it pertains to, in fact, I'll probably get into it in the next break. President Trump walked off an interview on Meet the Press and talking to Kristen Welker of Meet the Press. And I'm not exactly sure what the big hubbub was about this walk-off by President Trump. I guess walking off an interview is a big deal in some way. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. And I have the audio, and then I'll talk about what I hope to make a point of. Also, Katie Dykes, the head of Deep, has resigned, or I think she's resigning. Yes, she's resigning. She's been around since 2019, and she is calling it a wrap, which is interesting because there's a report that says that only half of the Governor Lamont's agenda on climate has been reached. I find the two stories coincide, at least the way that I view it is that the two coincide with one another. They're trying to treat them separate, but I think in some way they're aligned. I'll break all of that stuff down to you as well. And most important, you don't want to miss this today. Do you know that you pay, taxpayers, you pay for Governor Lamont to keep information from you in the courts? With everything that we've heard about Aaron Stewart and Mayor Sanchez going through all of her books, think about that. Mayor Sanchez goes through every one of Aaron Stewart's books as mayor and gets them audited, and they become a news story every day, or at least last week it was, every day. And everyone's saying accountability, accountability, accountability. But when the governor's own emails and documents are called into question, and they are told that they have to release them, they fight them in court with your money to keep them from you, while going on the camera and criticizing Aaron Stewart scandals. We got to talk about that in great detail. I've got all of that information coming up. And people have got to, again, this is the stuff I'm talking about that we're doing on the rundown, is that there isn't anyone talking about this in mainstream news media. This should be, especially with what we're learning about Aaron Stewart, it should be an outcry of folks, especially in the news media, saying, "Whoa, wait a minute, man. You have something to say about Aaron Stewart, Governor, but you're keeping the very documents that we have a right to see away from us, and you're fighting it in court using our tax dollars to fund that." Incredible, I might add. We'll get to the bottom of that. And last but not least, I guess we will talk about another Aaron Stewart deal that's also in the news. We'll get to all of that. as well. I want to say thank you to Dan at Old Village Antiques in Avon. Although I did not buy an antique, but Roseanne went in there and we drove by, and I got a great picture of his building. The building is beautiful in Avon, if you've seen it. And Roseanne was inside, and he was talking to her, and she was trying so hard not to tell him who I was, because usually she brags to everybody. She'll walk into a place and go, "Do you know my husband? He's on the radio." So I had to tell her to stop doing that. I'm like, "Honey, I appreciate it." She goes, "But I love bragging about you." I'm like, "Honey, just don't. Please don't. It's just something we shouldn't do." And so Dan had asked her, "Hey, what brings you into town? You know, you look new." And she was like, "Oh, we just moved here, blah, blah, blah." It's like, for my husband's work. And she's trying really hard not to tell him. She's trying to stay true to what I asked her. And he was like, "Oh, really? What does your husband do?" "Oh, he's in radio." And she's, again, trying. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to get in trouble." I'm like, "She's not going to get in trouble." I was like, "We just shouldn't broadcast it to everybody. Just, I don't want to run in the door and just be like, 'Hey, I'm on the radio.' You know me? I don't want to be that guy." And she will. She loved doing that when we got here. And I was like, "Honey, I know you're excited, and I appreciate that." She just wanted everyone to listen to me. And I don't begrudge her that. But she was trying really, really hard not to. She was like, "He's on WTIC?" He's like, "What's his name?" And Dan came out, and we spoke to him, and it was a pleasure meeting you, Dan. And we'll be back. She loved your shop, but I was so tired I had to go home. And it turns out my voice is the reason why I was so tired, because I had a headache and pollen in my throat, and I just want to take a break. But we'll go back and check out the spot as well. Also, I'm trying to remember this gentleman's name at Lola's in Plainville. I want to say it's Randall, but it may be Russell. Anyway, I'll talk about it. If you know who he is, you guys let me know in the chat room. We'll be back. It's more news and more views. It's Reese on the radio.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brian Jackman here for CertaPro Painters. You know, I love my home, but I did notice in the kitchen especially that scuffs, faded colors. I knew I needed to do something about it, so that's why I got in touch with CertaPro Painters. They can do something that not only protects your home, makes it look great, makes you happy to be in that space all the time. CertaPro Painters is dedicated to bringing fresh color to your home with quality craftsmanship. Check it out yourself so you can schedule that free estimate online right now at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Lockridge, and I'm the host of a new podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore. In this podcast, I'm going to have people on to tell unusual and sometimes far-fetched stories about their families.
I've heard my whole life that she invented the margarita.
And then, we're going to investigate those stories and find out how much of it is true.
He gets a patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. Oh my God.
Please follow and listen to Family Lore, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
It's no secret, the world is more expensive. But at Mitchell Auto Group, they have a solution. Mitchell Select. Hand-picked selection of affordable, high-quality pre-owned vehicles. Each one goes through a 150-point inspection, comes with a 12-month warranty. What does that do? It ensures reliability and peace of mind. Affordable, dependable. Mitchell Select has what you need. All you have to do is go to MitchellAutoGroup.com to explore the select inventory. Mitchell Auto Group, where value meets quality. And remember, folks, always drive safely.
Connecticut, commemorating 250 years
of sustainability,
of culture, of innovation, of democracy.
169 towns strong.
250 years of Connecticut.
Visit 250nct.com for a calendar of don't miss celebrations and events.
And now, a WTIC news update.
80 degrees at 3:30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Governor Lamont signed a bill for a measure strengthening the state's hate crimes legislation. It consolidates everything into one new measure. Advocates say the new bill is expected to increase police and prosecutors' ability to charge criminals and seek enhanced penalties. The event took place earlier this afternoon at Congregation Beth Israel in West Hartford. The new law goes into effect October 1st. Investigators trying to figure out what sparked a fire this morning at a construction business in Barkhamsted. Firefighters were dispatched to 4 Old North Road. No injuries were reported, but there was concern because finishing chemicals were on site and crews had to truck in water due to a dearth of hydrants. Bedford Middle School in Westport went into lockdown for a time this morning. Police say someone called to say there were explosives and armed individuals in the school. A sweep of the campus found nothing. Police say several other agencies across the state received similar threats, indicating it was more likely an organized hoax. Israel and Iran appear to be backing away from further strikes just hours after they traded fire for the first time since the U.S. and Tehran agreed to that ceasefire 2 months ago. However, both countries warned today that they remain ready to launch retaliatory attacks if provoked. Powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake has rocked the southern Philippines, killing at least 35 people, most of those deaths occurring in the Sarangani province due to a landslide. And state ENCON police on the lookout for anyone who may have information about who may have dumped the body of a black bear that had been shot and killed over the weekend. A nearly 200-pound bear was found on Upson Road in Burlington on Sunday. WTIC News Time coming up on 3:32. Here's the forecast.
We will have a clearing sky for the rest of the day and the overnight, the low temperature dropping to a comfortable 54 degrees. Plenty of sunshine up to 88 tomorrow, partly cloudy 61 tomorrow night. A bit more humid on Wednesday with an afternoon shower, the high temperature 80. Much warmer on Thursday, the high 94 with a thunderstorm in spots late in the day. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
And checking traffic in Hartford on 84 East between exits 48 and 49. Left and right lanes are blocked due to a crash. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious, with better nutrition too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Worries over AI wiping out white-collar jobs may be overblown in the eyes of a Federal Reserve member. New York Fed President John Williams told a central bank conference that long-term structural unemployment can't be seen from AI and that the effects of AI productivity growth on the economy and monetary policy could take years to play out, and that the implications of AI shifts in productivity are profound. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Did you know the average person uses a toilet 2,500 times a year, and the average toilet lasts 25 to 30 years? So with that in mind, wouldn't you want the best? Stop in today and see our extensive line of Toto toilets, the world's largest toilet manufacturer. Modern Plumbing Supply on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin, featuring Toto toilets, a brand we proudly stand behind. No pun intended.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply.
Life takes unexpected turns, doesn't it? Divorce, the loss of a loved one, a personal injury, losing your job. Suddenly you're searching for someone new you can trust to guide you through. But what if you didn't have to start over? What if your legal team already understood you? At BPS Lawyers, we're more than just lawyers. We're a full-service law firm that's been part of this community since 1977. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Visit bpslawyers.com or call 860-CALL-BPS. Nick Painderis is responsible for the content of this ad.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-922-1284. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-922-1284. 800-922-1284. 800-922-1284.
I'm Dan Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, millions of people called us for representation. Why? Because trust grows when you win, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion and counting. When you call America's largest injury law firm, you're calling a family. You're calling an army, our army. You're calling somebody who will fight for you. Injured? Let our family fight for your family. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Herbie Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I really love that bit. I'm always impressed that you got that done. Reese on the radio, we're back. And thank you for the reminder, Hunter. He just said he was just breaking my stones. Yes, I am going to be at Open Doors Outdoors at the Lyman's Orchard golf course on the 17th. I'm going to be there early, roughly about 8 o'clock, so I can see people as they arrive. So if you're going to be there at Open Doors Outdoors, I will be there very early at 8 a.m. So I can hang out as long as I possibly can so I can get back and do my show, because it is on a Wednesday, or as I like to call it, a school night. Or a school day, so I have to make sure that I get out there early and then I, get on the road and get to the show. So Hunter, it would be great to see you out there. I want to give Timothy W. a shout out and an applause, because as I was saying earlier about what I thought, when June 1st came in, I started thinking about all the great things that are happening to me. Of course, on the 23rd is what I consider my sober anniversary, or many of us call this our unbirthday or our birthday in a lot of ways, on the 23rd of this month. And there was a story in the news that was covered everywhere, WFSB, I thought it was on TNH and other places, about Hunter Biden. Now, I've mocked and ridiculed this man for a long time, and I was very uneasy about it. It was uncomfortable to talk about somebody in recovery, and I couldn't help but go after him because he is a public figure, and a lot of the stuff that he did was absolutely reprehensible, but he's also a person in recovery. He's also been sober, as Timothy just told me, for 7 years now as well. And a story came out the other day, which I could not understand why the news media would ever write it, saying that Hunter Biden gave a Super 8 hotel in West Haven a shout-out. And I went, you guys are, like, that's a flex? Like, Connecticut is that desperate to be on the map? That a guy who was a crackhead at the time smoked crack at a Super 8? People are finding a way, like, that's gossip? Like, that's paid six-worthy stuff? And people are now talking about, you know, what was it? Hunter Biden and the Super 8 were not available for comment. Why would they? I almost made it a part of my stupidest thing I read today. But a good thing, a fine example that regular folks, normies, as I like to call them, don't get it. The guy talking about himself smoking crack at a Super 8 is not something to be scoffed at because he's Hunter Biden. There are plenty of average Joes who are smoking crack in an alleyway in your community, which shows you don't take this whole drug addiction seriously, that you thought that this was, again, a flex. Someone had mentioned to Hunter about this post, talking or asking him about whether or not he was the one who left cocaine in the White House. And Hunter Biden's answer really hit you one way, but for those of us who are in those rooms, hit to the core of who we are. He said, if that was my cocaine, it would have never been lost. That is an addict talking. Please recognize, addicts leave their drugs, their alcohol, nowhere. I told you one thing, I said this last week. You'd be at dinner with someone and they're drinking wine, and it'd be like a nice glass of wine, and the person will just take about 3 or 4 sips. True alcoholic would look at it and goes, what are you doing? You can finish that? What's wrong with you? People in the rooms are like, oh, you hate that. You have to drink that. Because I can't sit here and this is alcohol abuse. People know exactly what I'm talking about. You can't do that. But again, that's the difference between me and you, the normies, as we say. But when Hunter Biden said that, lost my cocaine, left my cocaine, do you understand? I'm an addict. I lose nothing. It's like if it was mine, it would have never been left anywhere. It's not something you leave lying around. People who don't do it leave it lying around. People who casually do it, normies, would leave it around. Oh, yeah, no, I left it around here somewhere. You know, like those people who search through the house and are doing this. I'm like, I know I have some wine somewhere. I don't remember where I put it. Rest of us will be like, what do you mean you don't know where you put it? Who does that? That's just how it is. So I just thought it was a weird thing that the news media was like, oh, Hunter Biden gave a West Haven hotel a shout out. At first I'm reading, I'm just like, look at these morons. Who would write that? Like, who approved that? What do you think, that there was now going to be a bus tour? And over here is the Super 8 that Hunter Biden once smoked crack. Yay! Everyone get a picture. What? I don't. I wish I had to make some of this stuff up. I wish I could make some of this stuff up, but you won't let me. You won't even give me the opportunity. You folks are bass-ackwards. Again, go look it up. You think I'm kidding? Go look it up. Hunter Biden gives a shout-out to West. And now that person who's probably found out that I'm talking about it, he's mad. He's upset because I'm mocking him. Come on, man. Just figure it out a little bit. I don't know. Let me see if our guest is not here yet. All right, coming up, Andrew Rice running against Rosa DeLauro, progressive. I don't know. Can you call him a Democrat? I guess you could. We'll ask him when he gets here. We'll talk to him. Also, Donald Trump walking out on his interview with Kristen Welker. What that really says about the news media and about the president. And I wish the president would get what I'm about to say in all of this. Hopefully, he can figure it out. Because the president is making a mistake here. President's making an epic mistake by dealing with these organizations. At some point, you're not exposing these folks. At some point, you're wasting your time. I'll even go so far as to say what Josh Elliott said to me about coming on this program. It's like, why would I waste my time on your program? You don't help me. President Trump going to NBC. Who does that serve? If anything, it legitimizes Kristen Stewart. And by the way, I want to give you this. And this isn't even a part of my commentary about this. I want you to think about this. Donald Trump has done interviews in the news media with a lot of women lately. Have you noticed it? They are always featuring him talking to women. Leslie Stahl, famous interview. Laura, what's her name? Maura McDonald, whatever her name, I don't know, CBS. That woman. And now Kristen Welker. Now, I did an interview not too long ago. I want to say it was like around the Super Bowl or something like that. Or maybe even around Christmas. He did an interview with Kristen Welker. It was actually not that bad. But it's usually the ones that are volatile are usually with women. And now most people would say, yes, because he doesn't like women. And when he's around women, he's disrespectful of them. Well, you're going to have to twist yourself into a pretzel to make that stand. I know exactly what that's for. And those interviews are made to be contentious on purpose. They want Donald Trump being confrontational with women. And Donald Trump wants to be confrontational with them. He does. He has no problem with telling a woman that she's stupid. None. And if you just got queasy or just got uncomfortable hearing that, grow up. Because I only have to ask one simple question. Can women be stupid? And you're probably nodding your head. Well, of course they could. So what's wrong with saying it? It's like, but it's these women. Well, show me the evidence that they're smart. Show me the evidence that they're not stupid. Go to bat for them that they're not stupid. You're going to talk about their accomplishments? You want to talk about their degrees? Sure. That's like saying Donald Trump isn't smart, even though he's a billionaire and a businessman. You can also say he's not a billionaire because he's had plenty of bankruptcies, but none of it washes. You can't have both. He's either a successful businessman or he's not. He's either a billionaire or he's not. He's either smart in being a businessman who became a billionaire, or he's an idiot with bankruptcies who happened to be a billionaire. So what you're saying is that there's a likelihood that you could be bad in business and still make billions of dollars? So therefore, it is safe to say that Kristen Welker, Nora O'Donnell, that's her name, and Leslie Stahl can be quite accomplished and complete morons. You know the saying, right? Set the table, you have to eat at it. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. Shout-outs coming up to a bunch of folks that I saw over the weekend when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You can even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
So we spent the entire weekend, Roseanne and I, going from place to place. And these folks that we went to see, because generally we like to get out of the house. We have a very small apartment. And although we can sit around and I can work all day, and Roseanne can watch Outlander for the 9th time. She really loves that show. I figured I'd take her out. And so I didn't really have a lot of plans, but I figured I'd just go to. So I go to this, where the heck was it? What was the first place we went to? I can't remember where it was, but I know we went there Saturday. Okay. So we originally supposed to go to the street mall, Parkview. Yeah, Parkview. Because we thought Josh Elliott would be there at 9 o'clock in the morning, or at least we were told by Sam the man on the street, only to find out they were going to be there at 1 o'clock. So we didn't have really that much to do. So we went, of course, to our favorite Main Street diner. We went there and had breakfast with Tiffany and Jossie, as we always do, and it's always great to see them. So after we did that, then I go, all right, we go down to Parkville. Oh, no, we went to go Parkville to go check it out, to see what it looked like. And we apparently got there too early. It's roughly about 11 o'clock when we got there, just to see, because we thought it was going to be like, there was going to be malls or, things that we could buy. It's all a food court. So we weren't really hungry at that point. So we figured, what else are we going to do now? I didn't want to have to drive back home, so I figured we're in Hartford. So we went up north. And where did we go? We went to Suffield. We went to Suffield, and we went to go see the Freedom Truck, brought to you by PragerU. And it was up at the VFW post here, post 9544. Those great veterans were there. I even went and bought a T-shirt, which is what I'm wearing today. Went there and hung out with Pete. That was fun. And I know I'm going to screw this up. There were a whole bunch of people who were there, and I'm always going to screw it up because I got to remember so many names, and usually I have to write them down. And if I don't write them down, I'm going to make it not Pete, Paul. Sorry, Paul. Paul was there at VFW Post 9544 in Suffield and the Freedom Park. We took a picture of them. You can find that on my Facebook page, Roseanne and I, with Pete. I mean, Paul. Darn it, Paul, standing there as well. And Paul invited me. So I'm sorry, I got Pete on the brain because another story. Anyway, so we went down there, got to see the Freedom Truck. There was a couple of quizzes inside there. And it's a great truck, a great experience. Most of it brought to you by Glenn Beck, I think has all of the artifacts that you can see online. And PragerU puts the thing on. So that was a great tour. We did that. And then afterwards, we decided that we were going to travel to get or return a monitor that I had, or to pawn off a monitor that I had, because I bought a monitor from the Silas Dean's pawn shop. So I got rid of the old one because I bought a new one. And I went down there to go trade it off, and then Roseanne saw a sewing machine, so we did a whole trade so she could get this old sewing machine. We did that. And then we went to Tropical Smoothie because she wanted something to drink and go to the bathroom. And then we ended up bumping into Brian, who was there. And I want to thank Brian, who recognized me even with my hat off. He heard me say, Chris Murphy is funding leftist groups. And he was like, hey, is that him? And so, Brian, it was good to meet you as well. Anyway, also, I'm trying to remember if it's Randall at Lola's in Plainfield. And, of course, Scott and Diane and all the girls over at the Harvest Bakery on Sunday. That was fun to hang out with them. And I went in for one cinnamon roll and walked out with what can only arguably about $150 worth of baked goods. So I thank them for that. It was a pleasure to have that. Let's get our first check of the weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Did I see you walk by me earlier?
Yes, you did. I was in the building today.
That's what I thought. Okay. Good to see you, sir.
I was playing the hits. That the T-shirt you're wearing is very sharp, by the way.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. No, we're not going there.
How was breakfast?
Breakfast was great. The Main Street Diner is fantastic. That's why we always go back. That's in Plainville.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had breakfast with Tiffany there?
No, Tiffany. She's gonna like that. Tiffany and Jossie there.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you had a good weekend. If you're heading into Hartford right now, you are seeing the delays 84 eastbound from 43 Park Road down into the tunnel. We had an earlier accident just prior to the tunnel that's now gone. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Boak Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A&B. And again, a little slow traffic as you move down by exit 22 in the Route 9 interchange in Cromwell. Northbound on the Parkway, you've got some slow traffic approaching exit 62 for Miller Avenue in Meriden. 84 eastbound Cheshire is slowing from exit 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 is a little slow in Waterbury, 22 to the Mixmaster. Good Ride 91 in the Parkway toward New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by NJM Insurance Group.
If you dread dealing with your insurance more than you dread yard work, with a swarm of hungry mosquitoes buzzing around, then you might have Insuranoia. You should have NJM Insurance. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders.
WTIC weather.
We will have a clearing sky for the rest of the day and the overnight. The low temperature dropping to a comfortable 54 degrees. Plenty of sunshine up to 88 tomorrow. Partly cloudy 61 tomorrow night. A bit more humid on Wednesday with an afternoon shower. The high temperature 80. Much warmer on Thursday. The high 94 with a thunderstorm in the day. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Looks like a primary race is on for Republicans in the state's 50th House District. That includes Mansfield, Pomfret, and Brooklyn. Tony Emilio of Pomfret believes he has enough petition signatures to force a primary against 23-year-old Jaden McCormack. The state party called on Emilio after McCormack railed against Pride Month and suggested gay people should be put to death.
We have very opposite views on this issue. I believe that God is love, and I don't think he's vengeful and wants to lynch anybody.
Emilio calls himself a Reagan conservative. He'll turn 70 this week. At least 240 verified signatures have to be turned in by tomorrow afternoon to force that August 11th primary. The winner will face the incumbent Democratic state representative, Pat Boyd. Governor Lamont has signed a bill strengthening the state's hate crimes law. Advocates say the measure will allow police and prosecutors more tools to charge and prosecute those who commit hate crimes. It consolidates various laws into one uniform measure.
I just need people, if you see something, to say something. I go to every school. I go to wherever I can. I mean, the types of things you see being said online and often to people's faces, the likes of things we wouldn't have dreamed of a generation or two ago. And maybe we did, and we just weren't as aware of it. But I got to make sure that people stand up every day to this type of crime.
Current hate crimes laws include those causing physical injury and contact, damage to property, threats, and crimes involving nooses, among many others. The new law takes effect October 1st. In Maine's Senate race primary tomorrow, Democrats are looking to unseat longtime Republican incumbent Susan Collins in November. However, they're divided over their frontrunner, Graham Plattner.
A report in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal that Plattner's wife had alerted Plattner's campaign in the early stages of it that she had uncovered before he was a candidate that he had sent sexually explicit text messages to as many as a dozen women. Plattner and his wife have said that they have reconciled, that they've been to couples therapy. They call those reports gossip, et cetera, et cetera. And then there was reporting last week out of the New York Times that spoke to a number of ex-girlfriends of Plattner, but one in particular alleged, and I'll quote directly from the article, that he was, quote, physically threatening at times.
It's ABC's Jay O'Brien reporting. Police were called to Bedford Middle School in Westport after officials there say someone called in a threat. It was around 10:30 this morning when staffers say someone called to say there were explosives and armed individuals in the building. That brought out a police presence, as well as the bomb squad and bomb-sniffing dogs. Forced the school as well as nearby Staples High into lockdown. No devices were found. The lockdown was lifted by noon. Police say other agencies received similar threats, and it was likely part of an organized hoax. Border czar Tom Homan told Fox News today he plans to send more ICE agents to New York City for what he calls a total lack of cooperation from officials there. Mayor Zoran Mamdani says Homan is off base.
I want to be very clear about the fact that I believe that ICE raids are cruel. They are inhumane. They do nothing to serve in the interest of public safety. I've shared that directly with the president. I've shared that in public.
Crews were called to the scene of a fire this morning at a construction company in Barkhamsted. Firefighters dispatched just after 4 to the business at Old New Hartford and Old North Road. Several companies responded. Due to a lack of hydrants in the area, they had to truck water to the scene in order to beat back the flames. The fire chief says there was concern also because finishing chemicals were stored at the site, but there was no hazmat situation and no injuries reported. The fire marshal is investigating. Wall Street, the Dow down 80 points, NASDAQ up 220, S&P up 21. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Injured? Dial Pound Law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Brian Jackman here for CertaPro Painters. I don't know about you, but for me, I want to be able to trust the people that do work on my house. That's why CertaPro Painters could be perfect for you. They get the job done right because they take pride in what they do. And by the way, the painting is professional and all of it at the right price. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're not just hiring a service, you're partnering with a local professional with over 70,000 five-star reviews. So schedule your free estimate today online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Reese is on the radio. Here we go now. He's on the radio. One time, he's on the radio. Give it to him now. He's on the radio. We never finish 'cause the party don't stop. The way we consider the politics, we on top. We flip it like sandals, except we never flop. And when we drop, you know we gon' pop. Reese is on the radio. Here we go now. Reese is on the radio. One time, come on. Reese is on the radio. Give it to him now. Reese is on the radio.
All right, folks, Reese on the radio. In this hour, we're going to be speaking to Andrew Rice. He's already here. He's sitting across from me, and I can't wait to talk to him. I'm wondering if he is going to be as candid as he's been behind the scenes. I really, really want to. I really do. I want to pick your brain a little bit because you sound very interesting to me in a sense. I don't think you and I will see eye to eye politically. However, I'm very interested. I'm a naturally curious person, so I really, really want to get to know what you think and why you think it. And I think you're going to be a great conversation for at least for other people who listen to this very program and getting to know you, regardless of the turnout here. And by the way, I'm just going to put you on camera for now. But regardless of the turnout in this vote, I really think that you're somebody that is, I'm almost certain I'm going to be saying by the end of this, we got to have you back. We do. I really believe that. Because you don't just have strong opinions about, conservatives or conservatism, but you got strong opinions even about some socialists who are in essence in the forefront of your party who are being out there. So you suffer no fools in all of this.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to hold the other side accountable, why should people trust you if you're not going to hold your own side accountable? So I believe in accountability on both sides. Otherwise, it undermines the whole argument of accountability.
You are going to be a fantastic interview. I promise you that. All right, stand by. We're going to get to weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. On the opposite side, Andrew Rice, live right here on the show. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. And if you're making your way in toward Hartford right now, eastbound side of 84 locked up, 43 Park Road down into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is slowing as you approach the Boakley Bridge in East Hartford out to exit 45 Flatbush Avenue. 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A&B. Quiet northbound 91. If you are traveling 291 384, that's okay. 2 eastbounds moving well into Glastonbury. 9 northbound slowing as you approach Harbor Park. If you're 91 southbound, some tight traffic down by exit 19 in Meriden. 84 eastbound slowing 25A down to the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound slowing approaching 18. Look out for an accident there. 84 eastbound slowing now from 8 in Danbury out to exit 11 in Newtown. In South 95, you got delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. And 95 northbound, right at exit 48, we have a crash there, only one lane getting by. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Sunshine and a few clouds for the rest of the afternoon. The high temperature up to 81. Overnight, clear, very comfortable, down to 54. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, up to 88. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, 61. And then the heat and the humidity starts to kick in a bit on Wednesday. Now, it's not going to be as hot with a high of 80 because we will have an afternoon shower in spots. But Thursday's high up to 94 with a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Very warm and muggy. Same on Friday with a thunderstorm late in the day. The high temperature 93. And on Saturday, we will have partly sunny sky, very warm, but less humid. The high temperature 89. Right now, 78 in Hartford, 79 in Bristol, and 77 in Granby. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
The Travelers Championship. This is where greatness locks in. See the world's best. Defending champ Keegan Bradley, Scotty Scheffler, and more. June 24th through 28th at TPC River Highlands. Tickets at travelerchampionship.com. Now is the time. This is the place.
ProHealth Physicians has proudly been keeping Connecticut healthy for nearly 25 years. ProHealth accepts Husky Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE, and most major insurances. For trusted local care for your whole family, call 1-855-CT-MD-411 or visit ProHealthMD.com.
Whittlesey Accounting Advisory Technology wants you to think about golf. Travelers Championship opening day is in just 14 days.
Hi, this is Stu Leonard and my wife Kim, and we lost our 2-year-old son to a drowning accident. It's been our lifelong dream to open up a swim school. Drowning is the #1 cause of death for children under 5, but those who take swim lessons are 88% less likely to drown. Sign up for swim lessons today at stewietheduck.org, and all profits from the school will go to swim lessons for the needy.
Visit stewietheduck.org for your free intro lesson today.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes owed to the IRS. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, you may now be eligible for relief through current IRS initiatives for struggling taxpayers. In some cases, taxpayers may qualify to reduce as much as 99% of what they owe. You may already be experiencing wage garnishment, liens, levies, or audits and be unaware of this important information. Call Guardian Tax now to see what relief you may be eligible for at 800-404-6851. By taking action today, you may be able to stop all collections and resolve your tax problem before your tax problem gets worse. Tax experts are standing by to review your case and fight to slash your debt dramatically. Don't let your tax problem get worse and miss this time-sensitive opportunity. Check your eligibility with Guardian Tax now. Call 800-404-6851. 800-404-6851. That's 800-404-6851.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, he is here, Andrew Rice. You may not have heard of him, but if you have been anywhere, I would say online or some of the protests that are happening in and around Connecticut, this man has been there. We've seen him plenty of times. We even videotaped him. Recently, we caught you on, my wife actually caught you on video when you were out at one of the protests post the shooting death of Renee Good, and you were talking about how you were running for office against Rosa DeLauro in the 3rd District.
Yes.
And that's how you came to be known by my camp. And we were trying to get to you, and I think we were having a hard time reaching out or something like that, but I'm glad that you're here now. You went to the convention recently. How did that go? Did you, I mean, did you not favor well in that convention?
Well, so on May 11th, there was the Democratic nominating convention for Connecticut's 3rd Congressional District.
Mm-hmm.
And going into the convention, we estimated that we had around 45 to 50 delegates. Now, the delegation was supposed to be 390 people. Only 339 showed up.
Wow.
In order to get ballot access, you need 15% of those delegates to vote in favor of you.
Right.
And so we needed 51. So we were kind of like, oh, okay, maybe we can pull this off.
That looks good, like an achievable number.
Yep, the numbers were looking good. And going into the convention was very interesting because it was basically just a pageant for Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro.
Sure.
When you go down the street, there were just, 100, if not more, lawn signs for Rosa DeLauro. You get in, they have these Rosa DeLauro cookies. There were bomb-sniffing dogs and metal detectors and a police presence, which apparently was not at any of the other conventions for Congress in the state. I checked with all the other candidates, and they're like, nope. So I don't know why there was such a massive amount of security for the 3rd Congressional District convention. We did have like 50 to 60 supporters and volunteers show up to hold signs, greet delegates. Then, we go inside. The convention is called to order, and in the moment, you're very nervous.
Sure.
You don't. This is the first time I've ever been to a convention, so I didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
I had read the rules beforehand, but they didn't provide an agenda to us. And so the first point where I realized that something was running afoul, which I should always expect from the Democratic Party, was the nominating speeches. the rules stated that the speeches are only allowed to last 8 minutes for both the nominator and the seconder. And I didn't have a timer, and I should have, but in the moment I was like, these people are talking a lot longer than 8 minutes. Sure enough, they wound up talking for 12 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow.
But what irritated me at the beginning was when my nominator was speaking, they cut her off at exactly 8 minutes. Yes. And so she was not allowed to finish her speech. And so Rosa DeLaura's team got an additional 4 minutes and 30 seconds to talk about why the delegates should be voting for her. And our speech was cut off, and it was very aggravating because one of the cruxes of our pitch was tonight is not about voting for whether or not you agree with my policies or Rosa's policies. Tonight is about giving people of Connecticut's 3rd Congressional District a choice. And as Democrats, and I went around to DTCs throughout the months before convention, giving a pitch, and one of the things that resonated the most was, as Democrats, we should be upholding the ideals of democracy, and a pillar of a strong democracy is that you have dialogue, you have debate, you have a discussion, but you can't have that if you are unwilling to have a primary. And that resonated with a lot of people, and that's what we
what we just went through in 2024 with the transfer between Biden and Kamala Harris.
I mean, as far as the presidential primaries go, the Democrats have not been given an actual option since 2008.
Right.
Because 2012, Obama ran for re-election. No one was going to primary a very popular sitting president. And then in 2016, the Democrats were seen, working behind the scenes to make sure that Bernie Sanders didn't have a chance. So a lot of people are saying that I got Bernied in 2020.
Wow.
They were able to clear out all the centrists to make way for Biden. And then in 2024, the thing that always struck me weird about 2024 was that there was a debate in, I think, June or July. And as far as I can remember, there's never been a presidential debate that early in the season. It's usually September, October.
Exactly.
And so I really think in 2020, I remember Kamala Harris being, the media just fawning over her and saying that she's the future of the party.
Indeed.
And we're going to see her take on Joe Biden about redlining and this, and that, and how and I was just like, they're pushing her way hard. And then Tulsi Gabbard wipes the floor with her. She never gets a vote. But then she becomes the vice presidential nominee. And so I think the Democratic Party has always wanted Kamala Harris. They just couldn't get her in 2020. So they made her the vice presidential nominee in 2024 or in 2020. Then in 2024, do you think that was because there was, as there always has been, because we dealt with it in the Republican Party when Mitt Romney was running against John McCain, and the Republican Party notoriously said, hey, Mitt, you're going to have to wait until 2012. It's McCain's time, so to speak, that, this is the successor, or this is the person who's supposed to be the standard bearer, because you have to step in line, or you have to wait in line, so to speak. Do you think it was part of that with Kamala Harris, or do you believe that it was trying to fulfill its identity politics agenda? Well, look at you. Point. I guess you could do this. Point on your nose. Yeah. Okay. So it was a policy agenda to get, in other words, to fit that framework of black, female, and identity politics agenda. Yes.
Okay.
And so, she didn't receive any votes in the 2020 election
Indeed.
because she dropped out. And so I think they knew that she wasn't, popular enough to make it on her own.
Right.
And I think they knew that Biden was on his way out, but they didn't want to have a primary because they were worried that Kamala wouldn't be able to win in a primary. So I think that they kept things under wraps until June or July. And I would love to know whose team reached out to who to have him have a debate, because that debate is the reason why he ultimately dropped out, because of it was just a lackluster, and that is a gracious term, of a performance. And at that point, it was already too late to hold the primaries. And so I think it was orchestrated in a way to ensure that Kamala Harris would be the nominee in 2024 and that Democrats wouldn't have a choice in the matter.
Do you think that they naively, I want to get back to your campaign, but this is such an interesting conversation that you bring it up. Do you believe that they believed the momentum of the 81 million votes of Joe Biden would just transfer itself to Kamala Harris? In essence, she wouldn't have to prove herself. It would just be using that momentum of 2020 and how many votes that Joe had, that even if she garnered, which she did, in upwards of like 75 million. I mean, she lost about 6 million.
I thought she only got 73 or 74 million.
Somewhere, yeah, but that's right. It's roughly about there. But the point is that she had all of that momentum of Joe Biden and being on that ticket, that she was, in other words, she didn't have to have any accomplishments. Donald Trump was just an awful candidate anyway.
That is what has been driving me crazy about the past 10 years and the Democratic message. It is just Trump bad. It's like, I get it. I got it. I got the very easy message. Trump bad. What are you going to do in place of Trump? What are you going to do to actually help working class people and middle class people and people who are actually struggling? Because just saying Trump bad doesn't mean anything to anyone anymore. And so it's an interesting thing that you bring up. Do they think that Kamala would just been carried by those 80 million voters? I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, in her campaign, she didn't really cater to those, 6-7 million people that sat out of the election. A month before the 2024 election, SNAP recipients were told that, that $1 extra is enough to adjust for inflation. And then instead of talking about any sort of, she was on the radio or on a TV saying that, someone asked her, what would you do differently than Biden? She's like, I wouldn't do anything differently. Right. And it's just like, okay,
that was
The View. So when people are struggling, when SNAP recipients are getting $1 extra, when, I think back then, gas wasn't cheap even then. It's more expensive now. But people were struggling with affordability, with college expenses, with rent expenses, with healthcare expenses. And you wouldn't have done anything different at all. And then you offer no policies. I think she had that housing policy that she tried to throw in.
It was giveaway
minute.
stuff.
Yes, but no actual policy to address the fundamental issues that have been affecting the working class. And instead of trying to appeal to them and reach out to them and energize them, she paraded around with Liz Cheney, whom is completely despised by most people on the left, to try and target this small portion of never Trumpers, because this is what I have realized the Democratic Party does. They just take everyone's vote for granted. They're like, oh, you're black, you're gay, you're a minority. Well, you're going to have to vote for us. Joe Biden said in 2020, if you vote Republican, you ain't black. I'm like, what does that even mean?
This is incredible to hear from a progressive. I'm telling you, I don't, and I know for a lot of people listening, it's like, boy, this guy's a breath of fresh air, even from. You said something interesting and immediately caught my attention. You said running this anti-Trump campaign or just Trump bad sort of thing, you said it's not really winning hearts and minds even on the left, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, we get it. Trump bad. We understand that. But you are saying, if I'm getting this right, and explain to me if I am or if I'm wrong, that this affordability crisis isn't really being addressed by even the Democrat Party. Is that they're not really addressing it in any meaningful way to those on the left. Like, they don't want platitudes. They don't want to hear affordability is a problem. We want to hear what you're doing to make it affordable. Another thing I want to ask you is, what is your position on the idea that giveaways are the answer? Are there progressives who believe that that is a good policy to have, that we need to keep just creating more government programs, or do you want to see something else?
I've often observed that in communicating with people, when you use certain words, you have to have the same definition. Otherwise, miscommunication can arise quickly. So one of my biggest policy positions is Medicare for all. Some people might say that is a giveaway. To me, I would consider that an earned benefit. We all go to work. We all put into the system. We all have our part. Then there's a lot of people that, mothers that stay home. They are an incredible help to society because they're raising children. They're doing a lot of labor that is not accounted for in the labor market. There are, home care people that aren't technically, employed by someone. And so at the end of the day, in a society, we all have our part in making sure that we are moving things forward. And to have health care, to me, isn't a giveaway. It is that earned benefit that people pay into in a system that ensures that everyone has access to medical care. Because at the end of the day, what is the point of building up society and moving forward if people still can't see a doctor without going into bankruptcy? If people, I have, a sister of mine and a friend of mine, they have dense breast tissue and they just skip going to get a mammogram because it's $1,000 and they cannot afford $1,000 when they can't afford their rent and their utilities and their groceries. And so for me, I don't necessarily see these things as handouts or giveaways. There are people that legitimately need these. There are people that work hard, and at the end of the day, I mean, there's always going to be people that take advantage of the system.
Yeah.
And so there should always be some, form of guardrails to try and minimize that. But even I think with like disability and SNAP benefits, it costs more in the administrative costs to, put all these hurdles and hoops through to try and reduce fraud, that if you actually just gave these people, if you just took them at their word that they need these resources, it would actually cost less because there's less administrative costs associated with all of this. But at the end of the day, one of my biggest frustrations is that, I'm sure a lot of people won't be surprised, I'm very anti-capitalist. I think the capitalist system
we'll get into that.
robbed us of our humanity. It brought us to where we are, but now I think it is holding us back. And so I've observed this a lot in science. I've been a scientist my entire career up until when I resigned to run for office, which was a very interesting financial choice of mine.
Yes, it is.
I just exhausted all my life savings, and now I just pulled out of my 401ks to, if you're not willing to risk something, if you're not willing to sacrifice something, nothing changes. So I wanted to, show that I'm willing to risk and sacrifice. Sorry, I got completely sidetracked with that. But as far as... So what
No, it's okay. No. This is you're getting very, very deep into who you are and what your policies are. My general question was, and we'll get to it because we're gonna have to take a break in a minute, was about whether or not progressives just want the whole kit and caboodle financed by the government or by taxpayers. Do they care about that message, as Ned Lamont has been doing? I've been criticizing him for the last 6-7 months, that he's turned his entire campaign into Santa Claus. Here's me, handing millions of dollars to this program and that program. I'm sort of buying votes. Do progressives care about that, or do they actually care about policies that change the dynamic of how we live? In essence, actually lowering costs and not, blaming federal government for them not, providing the funds, if you will, to subsidize people's lives. That kind of stuff. I'm going to get it on the opposite side. But I'll break down exactly what. We'll talk about it behind the scenes, and then you'll be able to answer it so you understand where I'm coming from.
Sounds good.
We are here with Andrew Rice. It is already, for me, I don't know about you, this is an interesting conversation to me. I'm sure it is for you, because I really want to get to the crux of this, because I know you have a lot of supporters who agree with you. Not that you all agree with everything, but the sort of the core of what you're about, you guys agree with, and you believe in delivering that message. And I'm only trying to understand it, not critique it. I want to understand it by asking probative questions. So I appreciate you being here just to give that opportunity. Again, Andrew Rice is here, a congressional candidate for the 3rd District running against Rosa DeLauro. We'll be back with him in a little bit. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Please let him win. Please to God.
Mark is saying, please let him win. Thank you, Mark. He's excited about that.
Please. We need some new blood. Anything. Even if you got to cheat or whatever. Cheat, lie, whatever. Win that seat. Hey,
don't do that. Don't even suggest it.
If you're heading into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, got delays 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Boakdale Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A and B. If you're traveling 2 westbound delays 1D up to the 84 West merge, 2 eastbound slowing by exit 3 in East Hartford. 291 through 84 okay. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge. Southbound on the Parkway, look out for an accident down by, let's see, that would be down by exit 58B, southbound on the Parkway, so look out for delays there. If you are traveling 84 eastbound into Cheshire, some slow traffic, 26 down to the 691 interchange, westbound 84 tied up 26 to 25A, and again at the Mixmaster in Waterbury. And 95 northbound delays from 42 in West Haven up to exit 46. Southbound 95 tied up New Haven, 46 down to exit 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We had a bit of sunshine and a few clouds for the afternoon. For the overnight, clear down to 54. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow up to 88. Partly cloudy tomorrow night down to 61. Breaks of some clouds and sun on Wednesday with an afternoon shower in spots, the high temperature 80, and then up to 94 with a thunderstorm Thursday afternoon. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday with another thunderstorm in spots, the high 93. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC at 1080 News. 80 degrees under partly sunny skies right now in Hartford. Looks as if there'll be a primary in the 50th State House District for the Republican nomination. This after Tony Emilio said he has enough petition signatures to do so. Jaden McCormack has come under fire for comments he made about Pride Month and the LGBTQ community. Investigators trying to figure out what sparked an early morning fire at a construction business in Barkhamsted. Firefighters were dispatched to 4 Old North Road. No injuries reported, but there was concern because finishing chemicals were on site and crews had to truck in water from outside due to the lack of hydrants in that area. A couple of motorcycle accidents that proved to be fatal over the weekend have state police investigating. 21-year-old Dylan Keefe attempted to pass a Subaru on the left side in Hebron as it was making a left turn on Gilead Street on Saturday. Keefe was thrown from the bike and later died. On Sunday, 35-year-old Enrique Rivera of Waterbury lost control of his bike on I-84 East near exit 23. That crash had the highway closed for about 6 hours due to the investigation. Senators are warning that a key U.S. surveillance authority could expire this week after bipartisan opposition to President Trump's pick to lead the nation's intelligence community derailed an extension effort. Israel and Iran appear to be backing away from further strikes just hours after they traded fire for the first time since the U.S. and Tehran agreed to that ceasefire 2 months ago. However, both countries warned today that they remain ready to launch retaliatory attacks if provoked. The renewed fighting raised concerns that the Middle East could be plunged back into a full-scale war. And if you were one of those who was hoping to attend a watch party outside Madison Square Garden for Game 3 of the NBA Finals, you're out of luck. The radius around the Garden is effectively shut down tonight.
No watch party outside Madison Square Garden for Game 3 tonight because President Trump is attending. However, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch says,
for Game 4, we do expect watch parties outside of Madison Square Garden to resume.
The entire perimeter around the Garden, which sits atop the very busy Penn Station, will be closed off tonight. And ticket holders have been told to arrive at least 2 hours early to get through security. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Knicks look to take a 3-0 lead in their series against the Spurs. Tip-off is 8 p.m. Dow was down 80 points today. The NASDAQ up 220 and the S&P up 21 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You can even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Okay, be honest with you folks. I'm going to have to find a way to start filming what goes on behind the scenes. Andrew and I are having a great conversation here. I'm completely fascinated by you because the more I talk to you, the more I see where you're coming from. This is actually just a short break, but I'll ask you for at least a 1-minute answer on this because of the question that I was going to ask you behind the scenes is that you were talking about real quick about if globalization is in a sense that if we took all of the assets that we had across the globe, you were saying that there was a study that suggested that we would be able to ration basic needs for everyone. Mm-hmm. And it almost piques me when I hear this talked about because it's often talked about in progressive circles. And I said that it seems like progressives have a problem with individualism. In other words, people making sacrifices for their own individual plight instead of being a part of this collectivism. Do you have an issue with individualism? And do you believe that we should be a society that's collective, that we should all be a part of the common good?
So the word individualism to me, I think has one meaning, but I think a lot of people misconstrue it with individuality.
Okay.
And so to me, individuality, I'm wearing a pink shirt.
Right.
I like Star Wars. I own a dog. I love lasagna because I'm Garfield.
Right.
Those are things that make me an individual in the sense of individuality. Individualism to me is you have to rely solely on yourself, and everything you do is because of everything you've accomplished. And to me, I just don't think that is a realistic point of view in a society. And I'll give a couple of examples. My first example is, and this kind of goes back to capitalism.
Is it going to take longer than 30 seconds for you to explain? Because I have to take this break, but I really want to get all that out. I don't want to cut you short.
The lawnmower I can explain in 30 seconds. If you have a society that has, built on a bit more community, then, you have a lawnmower, you have 7 houses. Each person can take a day of the week to mow their lawn. But that is not as profitable. Home Depot can't sell as many lawnmowers than if everyone's an individual in the individualism sense that everyone has to have their own lawnmower. So instead of selling one lawnmower that 7 people share, 7 people all have a lawnmower that they're all never going to be using at the same time. And then I have another thing to add after we get back.
We'll talk a little bit more about this. I think again, like I said, I get a lot. It was like, why are you talking to this progressive guys and the parents on the left? I think you guys are fascinating, and I like challenging your point of view because you get to challenge mine as well. We're here with Andrew Rice. He is a Democrat candidate. I'm assuming you are. You're still a candidate. Running against Rosa DeLauro in the 3rd District. More with him when we return. You don't want to miss the rest of this. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, this traffic report is being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you're heading into Hartford right now, you're on the eastbound side of 84. Delays, 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley out to 45 Flatbush. Southbound 91 delays 33 in Hartford down to 32 A and B. If you are traveling to westbound, delays East Hartford 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing by 18. Again, a little sluggish. 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 Waterbury slowing 22 to the Mixmaster. If you are traveling into New Haven right now and you're on the southbound side of I-95, look for delays from exit 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Looks like some slow traffic now southbound on the Parkway as you move down between exit 50 and the West Rock Tunnel. And we have another accident southbound on the Parkway right now, and that looks like it's down. Actually, looks like it's northbound on the Parkway, and it looks like it's just some slow traffic. I'm messing this up. Northbound on the Parkway, it looks slow as you approach exit 62 in Meriden from Miller Avenue, so look out for that delay there. Traffic moves slow, but your transformation shouldn't. Columbia Implant Center provides full dental implants in just one visit, open 7 days a week in Manchester to fit your busy life. Get your smile back today at ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Plenty of sunshine sunshine for the rest of the afternoon, with the temperature getting up there very close to 81. Clear tonight down to 54. Very warm tomorrow up to 88. Partly cloudy tomorrow night down to 61. On Wednesday, not as warm, but rather humid with a few afternoon showers. The high temperature 80. Thursday and Friday, the heat and the humidity are here. Thursday's real feel 98 with the air temperature of 94, and there will be a thunderstorm in the afternoon. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, the high temperature 93, but with the oppressive humidity will feel the real feel of 101 with a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Partly sunny, warm but less humid on Saturday, the high 89. Right now it's 80 in Plainville, 79 in Willimantic, and 79 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Support comes from Amazon Business. You can't rely on guesswork to run your business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Empower your team today. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
If you've been injured in an accident, don't let the insurance company decide how much you're worth. At Carter Mario Law Firm, you're more than just a client and more than just a quick settlement. When you get Carter, we'll help you get more. More experience, more attention, and more accessibility. The Carter Mario Law Firm's zero-fee warranty means you pay nothing unless we win. Visit GetCarter.com or call 877-GET-CARTER.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I'm not going to lie, Andrew. I want to keep you here longer, but you have another commitment at 6 o'clock. I promise I won't keep you for enough. So those of you who are listening to Andrew today who are going to be, where are they going to be? In Hamden what?
The Miller Memorial Library on Dixwell Avenue in Hamden. Tomorrow is the last day to hand in signatures for the Democratic petition. So we're going to be out there for a few hours tonight.
Okay.
If anyone wants to come sign the petition,
all right,
that's where I'll be.
Well, if you're a little late, blame me.
I will blame you.
Okay. And if they're listening, blame me, folks, because I find Andrew's, just his point of view, fascinating. Again, we don't have to agree for me to find him fascinating and want to talk to you. I'm going to bring you back. I knew I was going to say it. I've got to bring you back. Because there's so many issues in our world that we don't get, you and I, or at least the people that we associate with politically, I could go into these sort of circular, echo chambers all day and I get bored immediately. I like being in a room with people I disagree with, to just hash it out, to have conversations, to see if what I believe holds up, whether or not what you believe holds up. Just in that sort of roundabout of conversation, we learn so much about what people think, and we don't have to make assumptions.
I mean, this is the hallmark of science: collaboration, disagreement, discussion. Deciding whose hypothesis holds more weight, testing that hypothesis, observing a result, and coming to a conclusion. So you're just basically talking like a scientist.
Folks, and I got to tell you what Andrew said behind the scenes. This is coming from a guy who is an admitted leftist. Why does he make it clear that he is a leftist? Because he said, and I quote, "I hate liberals." explain. But you make a good point, though. Tell them why.
Because at the end of the day, a liberal will. So at the convention, many delegates were more bothered by the fact that some of my supporters were shouting obscenities than they are that 70,000 people a year die because of lack of access to health care, or the fact that our government is perpetuating a genocide in Palestine. Those things don't seem to bother them as much as a vulgarity. And so there's a South Park they had a movie back in the 90s.
I remember it.
And Sheila goes, for as we say, the MPAA, horrific, deplorable violence is okay as long as nobody says any naughty words.
That's right.
And that is
you believe that's the description of the the liberals?
Yes, it's virtue signaling. It's like, care about people struggling, care about people, get upset that people don't have food and that people are going homeless and that people can't care for their children. Why does that not upset you as much as someone being angry because of all of these things? And that is why I don't identify as a liberal, because at the end of the day, I feel like liberals just play more into the identity politics than they do about addressing people's actual material needs.
I find it fascinating. So behind the scenes, we actually got to your origin story. And you like that terminology. Are you kind of a Marvel fan or a comic book guy? Because you like sci-fi. You're a big Star Trek guy. So origin stories, you and I, we're in the same place here.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, you and I are, we both love Star Trek. I like Star Wars a little more, but
I like Star Wars more. I actually have it tattooed on my ribs.
No doubt.
There's a Star Wars tattoo here.
Okay. So how weird this feels. So we're so identical and in both two ideological planes. But you like the Marvel thing. I use a lot of analogies from the Marvel Comics universe, but primarily because they sort of make sense in a broader scope. But your origin story is, earlier in the program, you talked about why you care about universal health care. And you said it's because you are a scientist.
Yes.
And being a scientist, you know that science, Chris Rock said it best, is that they don't care about the cure. They don't care about the cure. They just keep you alive because it's about the money.
Yes.
That's what Chris Rock said
Yes.
in a poor interpretation of his voice. But that's what you said about being a scientist and why you left, that it was more about profit, it was more about coping than it is about curing.
Correct.
And even when you do develop a cure, it is only available to those who either have health care or the ultra wealthy.
Correct.
And this is what made you get out of that field and to go into the one you're in now, and that's trying to change people's lives through policy.
Yes. So the Medicare for All, but also the thing that definitely pushed me over the edge was July 25th. I don't remember the date because Christmas in July and a big Christmas fool. There was an event called Make Noise for Palestine. And it was several days after the UN said that the Gazans were facing a stage 5 famine. And so I was there making noise for Palestine, trying to bring awareness to the genocide. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a woman with bright purple hair. And I'm like, is that Rosa DeLauro? Sure enough, it was Rosa DeLauro. And I'm not going to mince words. I accosted her for her continuing support of sending military aid over to Israel while they perpetuate genocide. And at one point, I asked her, like, I screamed at her, how do you sleep with yourself at night during a genocide? And she's like, very well, thank you. And I'm like, yes, okay, the callous.
Sorry, gotta give it to her. She's quite snappy.
She's snappy, but
no,
callous.
I get you. And I are not going to get into the Palestine thing because I know people are saying, Reese, you got to challenge him on that. Save that for a later date. We'll get deep into that when
you're back for that conversation.
Absolutely, you and I will. We'll go to war on that one, but no, I know that's where you sit. I'm not going to give you, a whole bunch of crap about where you sit on the Palestine argument. You and I disagree there, so we understand each other. Of course, I'd love to have that conversation with you.
I'd have that conversation.
No
with
problem.
You.
So you were saying, I'm sorry.
As far as the healthcare aspect of it goes, whether or not you believe Palestine is or is not a genocide, the people in Israel have healthcare. The people in Israel have education, and the people in Israel, I think the settlers are given a stipend, so basically universal basic income. So we continue to send, $4 billion a year over to Israel. 53 million of that comes from right here in our district. Those people get their basic needs met, but our own people suffer.
And I see that. I can, with all due respect, that part of the debate, you and I are right on board, because there was such a, and the worst part is that aside from looking at that from the outside, regardless of it happening, for whatever reason, you can neither agree or disagree. The problem and the thing that bothers me the most is that not one person bats an eye, and the money that's given here is sort of doled out to these so-called NGOs who line their own pockets while people still sit in poverty.
So I'm not a big fan of NGOs, and this kind of goes back to my anti-capitalist views, is that if these NGOs solved the problem they claim to care about, it would invalidate their existence.
You might just be conservative, Andrew. Do you understand? All I have to do is just tip you right over the top. I promise you. There's a way. You know what? I'm hoping that you become so leftist that you come right back to the right. That's what I'm hoping for. You're almost there. Do you know that there are people who are listening to you right now just going, I can't believe I kind of agree with the guy. Trust me. I told you these conversations are important, folks. Please stop denying that I know what I'm talking about, okay? Because, again, it's not that we're that extreme. There's so much stuff that we can disagree with about. But trying to find a common ground that we can actually get some stuff done is absolutely achievable.
That's to me what it should be about, is finding where we do have those common grounds and that we build upon that. And that's a starting point to create trust and understanding. And then, I'm sure I would love to come back and talk more.
You have to come back.
I will definitely come back. And so I'm sure there are things that I could learn from you that I'd be like, oh, I didn't realize that. I would agree with you on that. And it's okay to change your mind. It's so one of my favorite characters from Christmas is Yukon Cornelius, because the little Hermie guy goes, gold or silver, I thought you liked gold. He's like, well, I changed my mind. And that really taught me that, so you can like one thing, think a certain way, and then have new information come to light and be like, oh, you know what? So I've learned that I think the 5 hardest things for a human to say are, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I need help, I don't know, and I love you. And so changing your opinion on something kind of forces you to admit those 4 things. Like, oh, I was wrong. Sorry about that. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know because I was wrong and I thought I was right. And if I don't know, then I might need some help. So changing your opinion is, makes you go through the 4 or 5 of the hardest things for a human to say.
Yeah, and again, this is about what we call sort of the evolution of thought.
Yeah,
right?
And I think that's something, again, that the Democratic Party, I feel, gets lost on, is that. So I was one day I was holding up one of my banners over the highway, well, not over the highway, pressed up against the thing and break state law. And a Republican came up to me and asked me about ICE, and I said I think ICE should be abolished. And he started getting into immigration, and then I started talking to him. He's like, you know what? You're the only Democrat that I've met that just didn't completely write me off for just disagreeing with you. And I'm like, people need to be given an opportunity to learn and grow and understand. And if you're just going to approach them and accost that, well, I shouldn't say the word accost because I just, accosted Rosa Galora. So maybe I'm inconsistent myself sometimes. But just because someone has a differing point of view doesn't necessarily mean that they are a bad person. They just might not know any better. They might not have been given an opportunity. And if you give someone an opportunity to hear you out, listen to them, and have a dialogue, then you can find that people have a lot more in common.
Andrew, are there more progressives out there that you sort of hang out with that are sort of like this engaging, this, at least, I hate to use the word tolerant, but at least engaging with people on the opposite side? Because this has absolutely been pleasant for me. I really do. Again, I don't think it's been a while since I've been, well, actually it's not a while because I do talk to a lot of people on differing. It's always an enjoyable conversation because people say it's like, Reese, you have such patience. I do, because I really want to learn. And I think for me, it's, I guess, the curiosity and wishing to understand. But are there more people out there that you can introduce me to that we can have these conversations with?
I hope so. The other congressional candidates, I think, are pretty open-minded. People like Kyle Gauck, Joseph Caputo, Ruth Fortune, and at the end of the day, I think one of the biggest issues right now with both parties is that they are beholden to corporate interests. And so, when we keep sending money overseas to bomb Iran and bomb Cuba and just bomb all these places, and we always have money for war, Well, then you look at people like Rosa DeLauro, and she takes money from Boeing, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, L3 Harris, Electric Boat, maybe not Electric Boat, Raytheon, and just like, well, of course they keep all voting for war, and of course they keep sending all of our resources overseas because that's what's most profitable to the people that are giving them the most money to run for office.
I will tell you that another thing that I should say that you and I find common ground on is the fact that we have what's only been considered lately this ruling class that no longer serves the people. They've forgotten that it is us in charge and they serve us, right? They are our servants, not the other way around. And stop treating us like the plebes or I guess just the peasants, if you will. Well, you and I agree there.
Yeah. I mean, this is what the Democratic Party just did to the Democrats in the 3rd Congressional District. They're like, you know what? We know better than you on who our nominee should be. Mm-hmm. We don't need to have her tested. She's going to be the one that you vote for in November because we know better than you. Mm-hmm. And people have gotten sick and tired of that. People want a choice in who they have represent them.
They want to say.
They want to say. And that is all we were asking for at the convention, was to give the Democrats in the 3rd Congressional District a choice in who they have represent them moving forward in the general election. And at the end of the day, I kind of feel like it's a bit cowardly that, the Democrats, Trump bad.
Yeah.
Trump bad. We're gonna fight Trump. We're gonna stop Trump. Why should we trust you in that if you can't even have a debate with someone who has been in the political realm for less than a year?
Yeah.
You are too afraid to face someone like me in a primary challenge, but somehow we're supposed to have faith that you're not going to be afraid challenging someone who's going to come at you at a much harder rate with much harder things to say. I mean, look what happened with her and Lee Zeldin.
Yeah. I think one of the problems that is happening politically here in all of this, especially the argument that I made even on the Republican side, was that, and I made this back in February when everyone was saying that Aaron Stewart was going to be the candidate. I was the only person here saying, really? You think so, huh? And they all called me crazy. And then I was right. And then they all go, well, okay, maybe he knows what he's talking about. Because again, as I said to even Aaron Stewart's camp, which they got mad at me about, this is not and should never be a coronation. This should be at the hands of the people. And if we don't get back to that, people are going to lose interest in this process.
The convention was undoubtedly a coronation, and I'm not sure if you saw the complaint that I filed or the results of the hearing, but the Democratic Party essentially admitted that they broke the rules and that they just didn't care.
Yeah.
And behind the scene, a couple of delegates have come to me and said that they were being threatened.
Wow.
That if they voted in favor of me, they would lose money for their constituents.
I heard Josh Elliott make that same claim.
Yep. Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysowitz was one of the delegates at our at the convention. Mm-hmm. And Kyle Gauck's campaign has evidence that she was putting her finger on the scale against him. And I'm like, I can only imagine that she was doing the same thing being a delegate in our district. I know that someone told me that Jimmy Tickey, he was another one behind the scenes putting pressure against me. And it's just like, at the end of the day, if the Democratic Party wants to pretend that they are for democracy, don't talk about it. Show it with your actions. Show that you believe in the rules and accountability. But the Democratic Party just showed that they don't care about the rules and that they do not care about accountability, that they do not care about choice. And at the end of the day, they just seem to have a bit of a hostility towards democracy themselves.
Yeah. We got to end it there because I know you got to go.
I have 15 more minutes.
Okay, well, fine. Then I'll bring you back. All right, let's get to Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark, sorry. Thank you for giving us the time to let Andrew finish his statement. We'll be back. Here's Mark Christopher in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
84 eastbound coming into Hartford, delays 46 Sisson Avenue. About a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is tied up. Brokley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Another bump down by exit 27 and 28. and a minor slowdown by exit 19 in Meriden. If you are traveling on Route 2 eastbound, a little slow by exit 3 in East Hartford. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni. 9 northbound sluggish by exit 32 in Berlin. 84 eastbound in Cheshire slowing 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 is a little slow 22 to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Northbound Parkway some delays now between 61 and 62 on the Wallingford Meriden line approaching exit 62 in the construction. If you're traveling 84 eastbound in Newtown, you got delays from 10 up to the Rochambeau Bridge. And South 95 New Haven slowing 46 down to 44. Northbound on the Parkway slows 42 up to exit 46 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sponsored by Petro Home Services.
To stay cool and save this summer, you need the best AC system tune-up and repair services. Go with your local HVAC pros. Go with Petro. For special offers, go to petro.com or call 844-482-2496 today.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
5 o'clock good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. WTIC Weather Center sees clear skies tonight in the mid-50s. A little warmer tomorrow, but the humidity stays in check for at least another day. With temperatures in the upper 80s. It appears there will be a Republican primary for a state house seat from eastern Connecticut. Tony Emilio of Pomfret believes he has enough petition signatures to qualify. He was chosen by state party leaders to challenge Jaden McCormack, who came out against Pride Month and has suggested gay people should be executed. More from WTIC's Dave Mager.
Recruited to the race just last Friday, Emilio takes issue with McCormack's disdain for the gay community.
God is love, and I don't think he's vengeful and wants to lynch anybody.
And state party leaders believe Emilio will better represent Connecticut Republicans.
I'm a Reaganite type Republican. I believe in small government.
But House Minority Leader Vin Candelora says no matter where Emilio comes from on the political spectrum,
I think in this situation where we draw the line is that people that are advocating for the government execution of individuals.
He says Republicans are defining what they stand for and that Jaden McCormack is not the face of the party. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
A new consolidated hate crimes law goes into effect in Connecticut October 1st. Supporters say it improves law enforcement and prosecutors' ability to charge and prosecute criminals. The current system is seen by some as inconsistent. Now the nearly 24 hate crimes are now part of one measure. Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection Commissioner Rennell Higgins says hate crimes are up across the U.S.
Across the nation, we are witnessing a disturbing rise in hate crime and incidents that target individuals and communities because of who they are, what they look like, and what they believe in.
Governor Lamont signed the bill during a gathering today at Congregation Bethel in West Hartford. Ukraine says Russian drone strikes hit a nuclear fuel storage facility near Chernobyl. Radiation levels at the site are stable. Ukraine responded with drone strikes of its own, and now analysts say that 4-year conflict may be entering a new phase.
There are at least 500,000, 500,000 Russians have lost their lives in this war. Many more, of course, have been wounded. And, of course, that has an impact on immediate family and extended family and friends. And so that makes people even more aware.
That's correspondent Ian Pennell in Moscow. Bedford Middle School in Westport went into lockdown this morning following a threat. Police say just after 10:30, school officials received a call suggesting explosive devices were in the school as well as armed individuals. That brought police from Westport as well as Fairfield and Norwalk. Also bomb-sniffing dogs and the bomb squad showed up. They did a sweep. Didn't find anything, and the lockdown was lifted around noon. Authorities say it appears to have been part of an organized hoax as other cities and towns received similar threats. Rising price of everything, gas, food, shelter, is forcing many Americans to make some difficult choices. Among them, 79-year-old retired veteran John Atwater.
I had to really tighten up on my going places and buying stuff. I mean, it's the gas prices are really, for me, they are just a real inconvenience.
Says he lives on a fixed income and that has forced him to cut back on groceries. Temperatures are going up, and the call is out to be mindful of children and pets in hot cars. That's the message from advocates, including Senator Richard Blumenthal, who points to nearly 1,200 such hot car deaths since 1990.
Somebody doing an errand with a child in the backseat of the car thinking they're going to just drop by the pharmacy or the grocery, pick up something quickly, is literally playing with potential death or injury.
The law passed in 2021 requires NHTSA to publish a rule by 2023 requiring new vehicles to have an alert for drivers to check their rear seat after turning off the engine. Dow lost 80 points today on Wall Street. The NASDAQ was up 220, S&P up 21 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're still here with Andrew Rice. We're going to stick around for a couple of minutes. We're talking about my exchange on Wednesday with the candidate out of 50th District. That was an absolute insane thing. I always tell people, go watch the video. You see my eyes turn into silver dollars. I'm like, what? It was the most insane. The most insane thing ever. But Andrew, you've been, I think, a great interview in a sense of, because I want to have some serious time to talk to you. By the way, are you going to be on a ballot in August? Is that likely? Is there? That's what you're pushing for.
We're pushing for that tonight. We'll probably come up. We might come up a little bit short.
You think so? You're okay with that?
Well, so the process of collecting signatures is absolutely just atrocious.
How many signatures do you need?
3,386, but only from registered Democrats that live in this district.
Uh-huh.
And only registered Democrats can collect those signatures. And then you have to go to the registrar to have them sign off that you are a person that is able to collect. And then you have to have each signature notarized. And then you have to bring each signature page to the town for which the signatures were collected in.
But you're just trying it anyway, even if you fail at it.
It is good information to have, and as a scientist, I can't move forward unless I have the information. So it is a good information gathering pursuit.
Because then again, in essence, it doesn't stop here. The next opportunity you get, you're going to do this again.
So the campaign has been considering whether or not we will try to move forward as an independent and take on Rosa DeLauro as an unaffiliated challenger, petitioning candidate.
Well, let's get another check of traffic and weather. We're going to have you back in a minute so we can get you out of here at roughly about 5:15 so you can make it to your event. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
WTIC weather.
We've got ample amounts of sunshine out there. The high temperature rate around 81, and that's been set already. Clear sky tonight down to 54 degrees. Enjoy it because the heat and the humidity welcome back. Very warm up to 88 tomorrow. Partly cloudy tomorrow night down to 61. A shower in spots on Wednesday, but the humidity will start to increase. The high temperature 80. 94 on Thursday. 93 93 on Friday. Those 2 days will be very hot with the AccuWeather real field temperature very close to 98 degrees. Now, we will have a shower in spots on Wednesday, a thunderstorm on Thursday, and a thunderstorm on Friday. Those will be pretty far and few between. And then partly sunny, very warm, but less humid on Saturday, 89. Right now, 78 in Suffield, 75 in Middlebury, and 78 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun.
Oh, and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let me tell you something. Andrew Rice is here, by the way. He's got to get out of here in about 3 minutes. But I want to just say that there are people who are listening to you, as you heard Mark Christopher earlier. There are conservatives even that are in my chat room saying, if I could, I would vote for him to get Delora out. You are really, to a lot of people who I knew it right off the bat, that people were going to say, it was like, this guy's not half bad. Because of the conception is, or the perception is, I should say, the perception is that, he's a leftist, he's a bad guy. It's like, you have to sit down and talk to them. I've loved every bit of this conversation. That's why I want you back.
Likewise.
And I can't wait until you do. Good luck. And, even though you see that it's probably not going to happen, but I know you're going to keep, pushing this because in your heart, and again, you said as a scientist, you have to see this through to see what the results are, because in essence, the science is the key to find out, it's more than a hypothesis. It is a solution, right? And that's why you're doing this. Any last words before you get up out of here, or anything you want people to know? Go to your website, of course, which is riceforct.com. That's riceforct.com. To check you out and all of your policy and stuff. I mean, I'm sure you have speeches or anything on there, or anything else?
Speeches, other news interviews that I've been on. Check them out. We have Instagram, TikTok. I'm mostly on Instagram and Facebook. Leave comments. Leave hate comments.
You like me.
Well, so as a public figure, you do have to accept the responsibility of being a person's lightning rod. People are mad, people are upset, and if I'm an avenue for people to be able to release that in a way that makes them feel better, well then, hell, why not?
My saying on this show is, I await the hate.
I like that. I await the hate. Love, hate, you know what? At the end of the day, if I'm creating a conversation, getting people to be aware of the corruption of the Democratic Party, which I'm sure everyone knew that they were corrupt, but I knew that they were corrupt, but seeing just how corrupt, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize
I think
the problem was. But exposing the lack of democracy in our state, the lack of following the rules by the parties, and doing what I can to make sure that they are held accountable for cheating, lying, and stealing. Because if no one's going to hold these people accountable, if no one's going to be willing to call out the names that need to be called out, and no one challenges the system, then nothing's going to change. People will continue to be disenfranchised, and things will just continue to get worse, because until people realize that only we can save ourselves, nothing will change. And so I will continue to push that message with everything I've got.
Andrew, let me tell you this. There is nothing in this world that says that even with your policy prescriptions for whatever, that there's no one who should have any right to tell you that you cannot fight for good in your own way. I really do believe that, again, you and I probably have policy prescriptions that are different, and our way of going about it might be different, but I really genuinely believe that you are trying to help your fellow man in any way, and I think that you have a good heart.
Thank you.
And I see that in you. It's just the way in which you engage me. You're not a hateful person. You just believe that you should be, the things that we should be angry about, we're not angry about enough. And you're getting involved in the fight. You're not standing on the sidelines screaming and hollering, although you might do it now and again to Rosa. But you're still, you know what, you're doing anything and you're making the sacrifice. You left your job, and took your life savings and, just spent all of that, even your 401k, because you thought you were fighting for good. And I'll tell you this before you get out of here, as I tell everybody, stop telling everybody in the world what they should do. You have to start with yourself. You have to set an example. And I give you props for doing that, setting the example that you want for the world, actually making the sacrifice you want the rest of us to make. You got skin in the game. That means something to me. It does.
That.
All right.
Good to hear.
It really does. It really does. Because I said, nobody should be able to tell you that you can't fight for your own good. Because I don't think that you're doing it with malice. I think you really do believe that you can make a change for good. You and I won't agree, but maybe, you know what, if you and I hang out enough, we'll get on the same page and maybe we can help each other do good for everybody.
Well, I'm coming back, so.
Without a doubt. We appreciate you. I don't have a commercial break here, but you go on. You get out of here, come over here, shake my hand.
Absolutely.
And I will definitely say thank you, buddy. All right, we'll talk soon.
Hugs? Are you a hugger?
Yeah, what the hell? What the hell? I'll take a hug. Why not? There he goes.
Thank you, boss. This was
really,
great.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. Andrew Rice, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give him a round of applause as he walks out. Thank you, man. So I know, again, it sounds crazy. Reggae Don said he should run as a Republican. He didn't meet any of your Democrat sort of ideology at all. The guy wants to give free health care. That's right up your alley, Reggae Don. That's right up your alley. Why wouldn't you want... I don't agree with that whole stuff, but this guy sounds more and more like the left. You know what? Let me take this call real quick. Kim in Cromwell, long time no hear from. How are you, Kim?
Yes. Well, where to start on this guy?
Where to start?
Yeah, I know. If I was still in the 3rd district, honestly, though, what I just heard, I'd have to go with DeLauro.
Okay.
The present-day Democrats, other than Bernie, don't like to show all their true colors on it. Mm-hmm. But first of all, he seems to not understand the science, and he should study Thomas Sowell, Milton Friedman, that communism has never worked for anybody, no matter how hard in your heart or emotions you think you can make it work. There is just too many people and too much demand on the given supply. Mm-hmm. We work by a series of transfer payments, and it's backfiring on us now because now the middle class now is really at its threshold now. You can't keep taking from us
Indeed.
And spread it around to think that, maybe we should 10 people should share one lawnmower. That's focus. And it really is very
Kim, what he said behind the scenes was interesting in this regard. It's like he says he doesn't have a real problem with capitalism. What he has a problem with is the present day capitalism based in profit. And profit he has an issue with. And again, that drags itself into a long conversation, which we never would have had time for.
Yeah.
Because in essence, that's where his point was that it is a profit-based capitalism. But again, profit is indeed made so that we can pay for overhead, and in essence, to expand capitalism so that others can work inside this, inside that capitalist system. In essence, what happens when a Home Depot grows in profit? They build more Home Depots to give more people careers. It's like they don't look at it from that perspective.
Well, see, that's the thing, and that is what they have a problem with in general is profit. And lawmakers should not be the ones to decide what is comfortable. What we're missing in the capitalist conversation is the religious aspect. It becomes more about money and greed. So our ministers maybe need to step up more to the plate. Just the way all our scams and the way they set prices on so many things. And we're a very consumption-oriented society. Sure. That, to me, is a spiritual void there that needs to be reckoned with. But the way the Democrats would do it, it sounds like he just wants to be Santa Claus 3.0. We're going to give you stuff. Notice Lamont is doing this in an election year. And that does a lot of harm to humanity in this way. My famous quote is, give a man a fish and he can eat for a day. Okay? Give him a fishing pole, he can eat for a lifetime. And that's where those parties don't want to do. They have their own insecurity that they want to be seen as saints, benevolent, to do the work of our Lord. And they don't want to see people have skills, a background to go to work, come home, have a house, whatever it is. They just want to take the credit and say, see, I solved poverty. Yeah. They haven't solved poverty.
They never will.
There. And on his health care part, again, where I criticize both parties on this, and it still remains a problem here, is you can't make health care correspond to a business science. Because humans will always get sick and injured, and you have to deal with that.
Right.
Okay. Now, we do have to be more proactive with regard to health in our society.
Right.
But it would always lead to rationing if you think that the government is going to pay for all your health care. There are other competing things in the budget. So eventually, okay, maybe it covers a broken arm, but don't think it's going to cover a fancy disease. Those therapies will be out of reach.
That's right.
And that's what they absolutely refuse to understand. On the Republican side, and I am very critical of them on this because the party that's conservative, of course, doesn't like to change either.
Right.
Their problem is the business model, is that what we're going to do is hope that you save enough money in your paycheck to put aside in a medical savings account that you would use for your ordinary medical expenses.
Right.
And then if something is catastrophic, then we will come in. Question, who decides what is catastrophic? Surgery may be needed even though it's not catastrophic. And then you're thinking basic things, ultrasound, saline solution, hearing aids, diabetic supplies, whatever. This is where Republicans think that they would basically say to the people, if you have to work to your 95 and put all your paycheck towards savings in some account, then go do so. They don't get it. What I don't see is any empathy there for the so-called moral majority is they don't get it either.
Yeah.
I think what we have to do is go back somehow to the nonprofit system.
Oh, you know what? That's a deep conversation.
1960s, 1970s. It's the only feasible way.
You know what? That's such a long conversation. You know what, Kim? I think we need to have that conversation. How do we get that model back is a great discussion.
Well, it sort of came up earlier this year. One of the hearings I watched in Congress. There is, because it switched in 1986 where there was some advocacy for saying, no, you guys got to move to a profit model and enough of this.
Right.
Blue Cross pays 80, you pay 20. It is backfiring on people now.
Yeah, indeed.
It's not working.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad you called in.
Right, thanks.
You got it. Do I have time for one more? Let's go to Jeff in Marlboro. I haven't talked to him in a bit. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. What's up?
Yeah, so I got a quick comment for you. That was a great conversation tonight. He was very personable, and he had a very civil conversation and debate. I like that. But one of the points he brought up, and I always find that communists and Democrats try and do this, they try and simplify things to a point where you go, oh, that's a great idea.
Right.
But when you think about it, it really isn't. Like a shared lawnmower was one of the points he brought up.
Yes.
Okay, but when you really think about it, who's buying the gas? You know, how much gas do you use? How much gas do I use? Who's changing the spark plug? Who's changing the oil? And if the same guy keeps banging up the blade on a rock in his yard every week, they're pretty much going to gang up on him.
And this is right. And it's right. And this is the individualism that a lot of people on the left dismiss in the sense of, I'm responsible for my own lawnmower. Whatever happens to it is my responsibility. You know, and how I use it is my own responsibility. How little I use it is my own responsibility. And that's, again, this collectivism, which in essence believes that we are all going to see that one sort of example, the lawnmower, that everyone is going to use it feasibly the same way.
But there's one point, like, you know, when he's talking about that, you know, you kind of think about it, and it sounds like a good idea, but yeah, people are going to be at each other's throats.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
But that's just think about, that's something as simple as a lawnmower. Now, on the other hand, I am in agreement with the Democrats and some of the more liberal people on that we need to take better care of people who can't take care of themselves.
Correct.
People who are very sick.
I don't think, in fact, you know what, Jeff, let me just, not to cut you off, but it's a very important thing to know. I don't think that is, we don't cede any ground to liberals or liberalisms or Democrats on the benevolence of average people. Of course we want to take care of those who can't take care of themselves. I don't think that's an ideal on either side. I think that's a human trait.
Yeah, I mean, it came to light to me a few years ago when my brother had a stroke, and I can't take care of him. He has to be in a home, and I'm making it personal. But what I'm saying is, I guess it's personal to more people than I thought it was.
Right. Yeah.
And there are certain things that none of us could ever afford. So the fact that, you know, the state helps us out with the insurance and everything is great. But I would never cheat that. I would never abuse that.
Right.
You know, it's just something that I think we should give to each other.
I think that, you know, again, when you have a group of people who know that it's being provided for them, there are going to be some people who are going to be gracious in receiving that, and others who are going to take advantage. I was telling the boy the other day when he was here visiting for his mother, I said there are two types of people in the world. There are the people who check your cup to see if you had enough, and the people who check their cup to see if they had more than. And, you know, that's just the way our society works. But good hearing from you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, man. All right, let's take another break. Let's get some weather and traffic in you. Mark Christopher is back, and we'll talk about the Donald Trump thing. Also, when we return, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Mark is. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't too happy over the weekend, huh? With Kristen Welker.
No,
and
he
the
was
weather.
not. The weather did not play well.
He called her out. All the major networks for being
I've got
less
it.
than honest.
I'm going to play it.
There you go. 84 eastbound coming into Hartford. You got delays now. About a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is set up approaching the Bulkley Bridge off to exit 47 Sigourney. If you are traveling southbound 91, just a little slow in Hartford 27 down to 28. If you are on the northbound side of the Parkway, moving Wallingford into Meriden, some slow traffic 61 up to 62 on the northbound side of the Parkway. Heading into Middletown 9 northbound, slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire, slowing 26 to 25 again by the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, slowing 26 down to the 691 interchange. 95 northbound in New Haven, we have an accident between exit 44 and exit 46. It's taken out the right lane, so look for delays back to 42 in West Haven behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Following a day with some sunshine, we have a clear sky tonight with a low temperature down to 54. Might want to save on the air conditioner cost tonight. The heat does come back. Tomorrow, the high temperature up to 88 degrees with plenty of sun. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy down to 61. On Wednesday, the high temperature 80, but it will be more humid, and there will be an afternoon shower in spots. We will have a thunderstorm in spots on Thursday. It'll be hot and humid, the high temperature 94. We repeat that same pattern on Friday with a high of 93 and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. And then once we get into Saturday, it'll be partly sunny, pretty warm, but not as humid, the high temperature 89. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30, 79 degrees in Hartford. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Governor Lamont today signed a bill streamlining Connecticut's hate crimes law. Advocates say the current system was inconsistent and went in a number of different directions. Now, those gathered at the bill signing say the consolidated law will make it easier to investigate and prosecute such crimes. Tara Cook-Littman is executive director of the Jewish Federation Association of Connecticut and lauds the bipartisanship that got the bill to the finish line.
The bipartisan overwhelming vote in favor of updating and consolidating the Connecticut hate crime statute sends a powerful message. When Democrats and Republicans stand together to say that hate has no place in Connecticut, our entire state is stronger for it.
The new law goes into effect October 1st. Investigators trying to figure out what sparked a fire this morning at a construction business in Barkhamsted. Firefighters were dispatched to 4 Old North Road. No injuries. There was concern because they had some chemicals on the site there, but none of that was breached, although there was a challenge in fighting the flames because of a lack of hydrants. They had to truck water in from outside. Bedford Middle School in Westport went into lockdown for a time today. Police say someone called to say there were explosives and armed individuals inside the school. A sweep of the campus found nothing. Police say several other agencies across the state received similar threats. Another round of strikes between Israel and Iran threatening a fragile peace that observers say could lead to all-out war.
Israel and Iran have again traded strikes, threatening to drag the Middle East back into a full-scale war. They were the first attacks since the U.S. struck a ceasefire deal with Iran 2 months ago, after President Trump wrote on social media the shooting must stop. Iran's state-run TV announced the military was halting offensive operations in Tel Aviv. Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu implied this round of fighting is over, while warning his forces would retaliate against more attacks. Sagar Magani, Washington.
State Encon police looking for information on who may have dumped the body of a black bear that had been shot and killed over the weekend. The nearly 200-pound bear was found on Upson Road in Burlington on Sunday. On Wall Street, the Dow lost 80 points today, but the Nasdaq did gain 220 and the S&P was up 22. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, we didn't get to do it before, but we'll do it now. News. Happy birthday goes to Derek Trucks, the guitarist of the group Tadashi Trucks Band, and apparently from the Allman Brothers Band. He turns 47. Nick Rhodes, the keyboardist for Duran Duran, turns 64. Mick Hucknall, the lead singer for Simply Red, turns 68. Bonnie Taylor famously sang the song Total Eclipse of the Heart, turned 75 today. And Nancy Sinatra, still kicking it, baby. Singer of These Boots Are Made for Walking. You know her. She turns 86 today. On this day in history, in 1974, Dolly Parton hit #1 on the Billboard Country chart with I Will Always Love You, the song that later became the global smash hit when Whitney Houston re-recorded it for the movie The Bodyguard. In that same year, Rolling Stones bassist Bill Wyman released his first solo album, Monkey Grip, making him the first member of the band to step out on his own. In 1985, one of my favorite groups, Tears for Fears, kicked off a 2-week run at #1 in the #1 at the Billboard Hot 100 chart with their anthem, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. You will never forget the opening sound on that song. Still one of my favorite whenever it comes on. And in 1996, the Fugees reached #1 in the UK with their soulful cover of Roberta Flack's Killing Me Softly, which topped the charts in over 20 countries, making the album The Score one of the biggest albums of the year and earned the group major Grammy recognition. In fact, I have to say it was the greatest album that the Fugees ever did in their life. And it was also probably when it all went to hell. It's so hell. So, yeah, that is your music news. I have to say, Everybody Wants to Rule the World and Tears for Fears, I thought that was the most, incredible year in music for me because it's 1985. And if I have to say that there's a sound or there's a song that captures 1985, it's got to be that one. It's got to be Everybody Wants to Rule the World in so many ways. I want to say Dennis Miller, who used to play that at the end of his show. And if it wasn't him, it was someone else. But I also remember it was the closing credits of the movie Real Genius with Val Kilmer. Isn't that it? I'm almost positive it is. I could be wrong. I doubt it, though. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is back in a second. There it is. There it is. Well, you have to play the opening. You have to play the opening sound because that's the part that gets. There it is. There it is.
I saw them a couple years ago at Mohegan Sun. They were outstanding.
I know. They still sound great.
Oh, yeah. No question about it.
Those falsettos, you don't think you can still cover those when you get older.
Yeah.
They still sound fantastic.
I would say this is in my top 10 of all time of songs, yeah.
Songs of all time?
Yeah, I love this song.
Oh, it's a great record.
WTIC News Talk 1080. I hit the post.
Yeah, look at that. Still a great record.
No question about it.
Ageless.
Once again, that 1985. I keep saying 85 is a great year for music.
It is.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. 84 eastbound coming into Hartford, not bad at all. Just a little slowdown, 46 Cicin Avenue into the tunnel. Same story, westbound 84, just a little tight. East Hartford approaching the Welker Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 91 southbound delays at 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Another minor slowdown down by exit 19 in Meriden. Northbound Parkway slowing, approaching exit 62 in Meriden on the Parkway. If you're traveling into Middletown, both sides of 9 a little slow, approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Waterbury slows 22 up to the Mixmaster. If you are heading northbound on 95, you're going to see an accident up in the New Haven area, and it looks like it's 95 northbound between exit 44 and 46. So that's got you backed up to 42 behind that. Southbound 95 New Haven tight 46 down to 44. And northbound on the Parkway delays approaching 46 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Lots of sunshine out there. A beautiful Monday afternoon. Temperatures very close to 80 degrees. And tonight, a clear sky down to 54 degrees. Very, very, very comfortable. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine up to 88. Partly cloudy tomorrow night down to 61. The high temperature 80 on Wednesday. We'll have an afternoon shower in spots. And then boom, Thursday and Friday, the heat, the humidity come back with a vengeance. We'll have an afternoon thunderstorm on Thursday, but 94 for the high. And the real field temperature several degrees warmer, very close to 100. On Friday, a mix of sun and clouds, the most humid day of the year and hottest with a high of 93, so very close to Thursday, that is, but likely have heat advisories issued for this spell of heat with an afternoon thunderstorm on Friday. Partly sunny, very warm, less humid though, 89 on Saturday. Right now it's 79 in Bristol, 79 in Vernon, and 79 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Have bad teeth that need to be replaced? Don't like removable dentures? Worry no more. Come on down to Columbia Implant Center in Manchester any day of the week and ask for the all-on-4 procedure. Call us at 860-643-1898.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic, the delicious daily detox that will keep you feeling your best. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon or pick up some at your local CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Whittlesey Accounting Advisory Technology wants you to think about golf. Travelers Championship opening day is in just 14 days.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
I know
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, before we get out of here and I take the rest of your phone calls, stand by for those. I want to make sure I get this out of the way because there were two things I needed to play today in the soundbite section, audio soundbite section of the show. I wanted to make sure that this happened. Donald Trump did an interview and, of course, Meet the Press and Kristen Welker, and he walked off out of the interview. Here's a little bit of that. But I want you to pay attention to what Kristen Welker did, which is very similar to what Leslie Stahl did in 2020. And that was constantly repeat, there is no evidence.
What they did to the lives of people, they destroyed people. They sent people to jail who did nothing wrong.
All right, just to be very clear, there's no evidence of what you're saying. But let me ask you about Todd Blanche. Let me ask you about Todd Blanche.
Listen to me.
Let's talk about Todd Blanche.
There's tremendous evidence. There's nothing but evidence.
The
election was rigged. It was a dirty election. And it's happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence.
It's happening right now in California.
Right
now, it's look at what's happening in California.
Where's the evidence to that?
It's
the
4 days.
Are doing well in
California. No, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with it. You know why they're doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen.
So I always look at these people talking about there's no evidence, there's no evidence, there's no evidence. When people talk on their programs, Meet the Press or Face the Nation, whatever the television shows are, you never hear the host saying to someone on the program, there's no evidence of that. No matter what they say. Let me give you a few examples. The Hunter Biden laptop, classic earmarks of Russian disinformation. Right? Did anybody say there's no evidence of that? Nope. They repeated it like it was the gospel. Jussie Smollett's MAGA country comments. Never once heard anybody say there's no evidence that they said that. Not once. Kyle Rittenhouse. This one's classic. Tiffany Cross, formerly of MSNBC. She referred to him as the fact that white supremacists roam the halls of Congress freely celebrate this little murderous white supremacist. Nobody said there's no evidence of that. How about fiery but mostly peaceful protest? No evidence of that. Rachel Maddow. Vaccine stopping transmission. Nobody ever said there was no evidence of that. The Steele dossier. As many people came on all the shows for years. They suggested there was credible evidence. No one ever said, at least the host for that matter, never said, we don't have evidence of that. They allow people to spew it. The COVID lab leak theory. Dismissed as conspiracy. In fact, not one person said when Fauci was telling everybody that it happened in a wet market. Nobody said there's no evidence of that. When inflation was called transitory, you remember that? There was evidence that it wasn't, but nobody pushed back. I just find it interesting. That's all. And then, of course, I've got to play this. Scott Pele was on the New York Times podcast, and he was addressing some criticisms of Donald Trump, who has called him everything from stupid and dry or whatever. And Scott Pele decided to respond to those claims by President Trump in the interview. It went a little like this.
Stupid, I can take that. Stiff, yeah, probably. Don't care about the country. I've never worn the uniform, but I've been in combat for this country, in Afghanistan and Iraq, Kuwait, been shot at, spent nights in foxholes filling up with water in the desert. I'm not aware that the President of the United States has ever done any of those things for his country. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You become a journalist because you love the First Amendment. You become a journalist because you love the country. And while all the other descriptions that the president used about me might be applicable, not that one.
Not that one.
There is no democracy without journalism. It can't be done. And that is why I am a journalist.
That is why I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist, damn it. Did he cry? Did this guy cry? Are you kidding me, you pompous turd? God. Say that I don't love this country. Pause for effect. I can't. This is I couldn't believe it. I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, the New York Times did not provide the Bill Bixby hitchhiking music. That was all me. I don't want you to think that they played that for them. I was like, that was totally Reese on the radio. I thought it was appropriate. Didn't that sound like it went, Roland? Didn't that sound like it belonged there? Didn't that? It was perfect. There was violin, feeling sorry for him. Ugh, it's just absolutely despicable. Let me get to the phones. Joe is in Newington. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Reese. How's it going?
Pretty good, sir. What's up?
So I was at Celebrate West Hartford this week, and I live over in Newington. And
I know I missed it.
I
so hate that I missed it.
You know, it's a great event, and there's a lot of great stands, but I came across a booth promoting America 250, and what struck me was the irony of celebrating America's founding ideals while the town itself keeps moving in the opposite direction. And right over next to that stand, they had a sign, actually at that stand, proudly announcing that they're going to be installing some speed cameras and some surveillance tech.
Wow.
And the town has also installed these flock license plate readers, which I'll agree with the liberals on, actually. I know that it's been used in terms of immigration enforcement, but it reminded me of a famous Ben Franklin quote where he said, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety."
That's right.
So I went over to the stand. I said that, freedom over everything. It's hilarious that they would advertise that at the very stand, talking about the Revolutionary War and the Declaration of Independence. If we're serious about celebrating America's 250th birthday, we probably should be protecting liberty. So I say this to them, and they basically turned back and they said, "Oh, did Ben Franklin's horse have anything to say about that?" And they also said, "How about his slaves?" So I basically just said, "I guess you guys just hate America. That's disappointing." And I walked away. But I was just cracking up at the irony of having those two things juxtaposed.
That's like Ben Franklin, everything he stood for, illegitimate.
Exactly. Yeah. The whole discovering electricity thing.
Yeah, it's like, no, my favorite part about that is just going, so listen, we want a surveillance state because Ben Franklin had slaves. That makes sense. Is that your argument? I was like, well, I was like, it sounds like it's your argument, buddy.
I think I blindsided them a little bit, which was not fair. They came up thinking I was going to say something nice, and unfortunately, I dropped that on them.
Hey, listen, you caught him slipping. That's exactly how it's done, my friend. You got to catch him slipping.
All right, Reese, have a good one.
You got it, man. You too. Let's go to Mike in Hartford. How we doing, buddy?
I love your sentimental and your holy and pious music regarding the Scott. Oh, what a bunch of BS! Oh my God!
I love the whole. I'm a journalist.
No, I have one good. The laugh I'm going to have is at Kristen Welker. Okay?
Oh yeah, what about her? Mike?
Back in the day, she would have gotten fired. But she won't, because NBC is owned by George Soros. They're all paid by George.
Listen, here's the deal.
Nothing's going to happen to this woman.
Nothing should. Listen to me. Nothing should. Here's what should happen, okay, is that no one should give Kristen Welker the time of day at all. What conservatives need to do is let her live in the echo chamber that is NBC and have nothing but people on the left on that program to the point where no one's watching it because they know they're going to get the same message over and over again. The only attention that show can get is this adversarial back and forth with people like the president or other members of his cabinet. That's the only way she's going to get. That's the only reason why we're talking about it.
I'm old school. Going back 3 or 4 decades, you didn't have this type of behavior. Now it seems like, you know what? If they elect Plattner, you deserve everything you get.
Indeed. Like I said, it is that shock sentiment that's, again, permeating online, and everybody's looking for clicks. It's nothing to do with substance. All it is about shock value. Because
you know what? I've told you this before. You run a great show. You could be tired as hell, and you sound great every day. You are a talker. You're a thinker. Do you sleep? Do you sleep with your eyes open?
I try not to, but no, I do sleep. But,
I'm telling you that. I wish I could listen to your show in its entirety every day like I used to, but I told Roland I retired. So I kind of cut it. I hope you don't mind.
No, it's okay. You know what? You can always go back and go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com to do so. God bless you, Mike. Let me get one more in here. Stevie V, he's been calling up forever, and I keep cutting him down. Stevie V, in a minute and a half, what do you got for me?
Okay, well, I think those people would probably tell Ben Franklin to go fly a kite. That interviewer was not like, Larry King by any means, even though he leaned left.
Yeah.
He would talk to people. She's talking over him as they're going back and forth. She didn't pause to, bring up her point. I think it was a very lousy interview on her part.
I think because they don't understand their role. They believe that as journalists, their role is to be sort of the antithesis of Donald Trump or be his adversary in that they are now a member of Congress in some way, sort of adversarial to the president of the United States. They would never do that with someone on their own side, and you know it.
Exactly. Really quick there, that police shooting in Hartford.
Yeah.
I had a relative that married into a family of a pretty prominent person that his wife cheated on him. He took a gun someplace, whatever. I think he wanted death by suicide. He got shot by the police. I don't think anybody ever, tried to sue or anything like that. I mean, he was in the wrong.
Right.
It was going back probably about 20 years ago in Southbury. And I just think that police officer was justified in what they're doing. The family called the cops to begin with, so obviously they thought it was a dangerous situation.
There is going to be, let me just say this to you, Steve, because I know where you're going here. There have been some people who have expressed their opinions about this or the way in which they see this incident, but I've been trying to tell people that there is something that they're all missing. And again, if it comes out in this courtroom, which I think it's going to, because I'm really, really hoping that Joe McDonnell gets his day in court, but what they are about to learn is going to change everything about what they've seen. Because I know it because I've seen it and I already know what's going on. But you will hear something in many things that you have not heard as of late. But I got to get out of here, Stevie. I promise I'll take you early tomorrow.
That's fine. I might not be able to call. I'll talk to you soon.
That's okay. All right. Good show. Andrew Rice, thank you very much for coming in. We'll have you back. We've got plenty of stuff to get into tomorrow. I have no idea who's coming in tomorrow, but I know somebody is. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. Make sure you're here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. Oh, DM Livingston from the Waterbury Times is coming in. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Good night, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford right now, roads are in very good shape. 8491, Route 2, 291, and 384 moving well. Quiet Middletown, Waterbury, minor slowdown approaching the Mixmaster. If you are traveling northbound on the Parkway, some slow traffic approaching 62 Miller.